Hey, look at this, fam. I got it. I'm ready. I'm ready to do my reporting. It's Big Friday. It's announcement day. I'm ready to, I'm the press. Hot off the presses today. I got my hat on. I got my newspaper. I got everything ready to rock and roll, fam. One thing I want to report really quickly yesterday, and I got other stuff because I'm a newspaper guy, is that in a national zoo, a fox breached a bunch of flamingos. There were 74 flamingos. 25 flamingos, no more. The fox whacked them, ate them. He also got one northern pintail duck. So we have some sad news if you're a flamingo lover out there. That's the newspaper guy in the newspaper world, fam. That's what I got for you. But I'm keeping the hat close. We have other announcements. We got other things to report today. It's a busy, crazy day. Ladies and gentlemen, get out there. Share the streams now. We're going to have a big announcement after the first section. We have a loaded file today. Oz is pushing it right now. We're grinding the guy down to nothing. He's like a spike that's got no spikes. They're all like a grind, fam. The gears have been grinded down to nothing. So we're juicing them. It's like juicing a rock right now. There's nothing left, fam.
Fam, that does not sound very good. We don't want to be grinding Oz like that. I don't think that's a good thing.
Grinding with Oz is not the best thing to do, but sometimes you got to grind with Oz. It's okay. We should get a t-shirt. I grinded it with Oz. What do you think, fam?
Fam, no. That's a terrible idea.
All right.
Terrible idea, fam. Terrible idea. Fam.
Yes, fam.
We got a loaded folder. So I do want to get started soon, but yeah, it's today the news just poured in. I was like, oh, it's going to be a slow news day. Nope. It never is. It never is. So we will try to get us to as much as we have here as we can. But fam.
Yes. Before we get started though, fam, everybody out there right now, we have a lot of traffic. They came walking in the door today on YouTube. So we want to get the news out there. Everybody share. After this first segment, we're going to have a big announcement. We want everybody in here to hear it. So get over here. Big announcement from the Convo Couch. Tweets it, guys. Tweet it out. Facebook it out. This is big. Get your asses in here, fam. You know I love the Global South, so get me going. Tell me what's going on, and when are we going to Cuba? That's what I want to know.
Oh, we need to go to Cuba, ASAP. I mean, yeah. So Wyatt broke the news this morning to our audience. He pointed this out. Now, there's been a few updates that I'm going to go over, but so far, what we know is that what he put out was a huge explosive, just rocked Cuba's historic Saratoga hotel, and it basically blew the whole thing up. And you guys will see, we'll have the videos. And there was apparently still international dignitaries in the area because of the May Day celebration. And he pointed out that the last time that hotels were typically blown up, in 97, it was the work of the CIA. But what we did find out was that apparently the explosion was caused by a gas leak, according to all reports in Cuban media and the report from the president as well. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the damage. This is really intense. Okay. And I think we have another video. We can just go ahead and play it as well. This one's a little longer. You're going to see him going through the rubber.
Miren, esto es un cadáver que está aquí ahora mismo. Familia, en estos momentos el pueblo ayudando a
He's
apoyo
saying that
organizativo de los bomberos, al
the
rescate.
community is helping
Están aquí, el
to
pueblo está
rescue
ayudando a la gente de rescate.
the people that are in there. So just so you guys know, I'll show the tweet later, but so far, last I checked, there were 13 people that died, and 4 people that died, 13 people that were missing. So he's saying that there's people that got trapped up there as well. And he was complaining about like the infrastructure, like how it shouldn't have happened. Yeah, so you guys get the picture. You can cut it off, Oz, and we just have some more pictures too of this whole thing. So I just wanted to show it because, you know, initially people were afraid that this could be like a US sort of thing, but it doesn't look like it is. It looks like it's just a Cuba thing. You can just sift through, the pictures. So yeah, fam. And then let's see.
Oh, make no mistake about it, fam. It might not be U.S. involvement, but you can see all the little cucks like Rubio and Cruz going, look what's going on in Cuba. They're so poor, right, and they're so oppressed that buildings are blowing up. You see shit.
They're not going to waste. They're not going to waste an opportunity.
Exactly. And AMLO is supposed to be coming to Cuba soon too, as well, in a couple of days. So this is very interesting. So yeah. It
doesn't, like, you know, when you have people, international dignitaries there, it doesn't look good to have this happen because people are going to be like, oh, is it safe for me to be here? You know, so it just doesn't. So basically, like what I said, Diaz-Canel actually went to the hotel and where the explosion happened, and he was accompanied by the Prime Minister, Marrero Cruz, and the president of the Cuban Assembly, Esteban Lasso. So he was accompanied by them, and he went and looked at the damage and stuff, and you guys can see in the picture. And the investigation, like I says, indicates the explosion was caused by a gas leak, and they're still working out the details. And of course, also, like I said, 4 people are dead, and at least 13 are missing. And I was getting this straight from the Cuban, his Twitter and the Cuban media. So that's what they know so far. Even Reuters, CNN, they've all reported on it. So, yeah.
Yep.
So that's that. Just like a quick, Yeah,
it's a little quick up to date on what's happening in Cuba. Like you said, fam, AMLO is supposed to be there tomorrow, the next day. That's very interesting. They're on the way to traveling. And, obviously, I don't think the West will use it, waste the opportunity to use this against them, like you said. Right. So it's interesting. It is good that they didn't find a bomb or whatnot. And but the reason I think it's so important that you brought this here today, and I'm glad you did, because people got to get ready for the global South to heat up again right now. There's been a little bit of lulling or calmness or quietness. United States foreign policy now is concentrated in Ukraine. God forbid, hopefully we don't get to World War III, but if we don't get to World War III, they're going to pivot eventually and come back to the global South. They're not going to like the fact that Russia's over there in Nicaragua, is talking to Venezuela, is dealing with Cuba. They're not going to like this shit at all, and now you got more and more, the whole thing with AMLO, and we were in Mexico City, we were with Terry Matson, right? And she had told us about AMLO had come up for this, what kind of like what he promised the people, like this, what's it called? Like a referendum to the people, meaning the people get to vote. You vote on my work halfway through. You say yay or nay. If it's nay, we'll put a snap elections, we'll put it together, and we'll let the people vote on somebody in. If it's yay, we move forward with the plan. Well, after the yay fam, and being that he's only got 1 6-year term, AMLO has now hit the gas, right? Yeah. And we're going to get into that. AMLO's a guy who addresses his people every day. He's the first of his kind, first time this party in Mexico has ever held power. He's a very interesting character, and he's got a lot of progressive things about him and a lot of things that I know that you would like. So it's going to be very, very interesting, and we have to pay close attention to the global South. If in fact the United States wants to mess around with Nicaragua, how do you do that? The old school way, the way that the United States regime playbook is always said in the global South: proxy wars, right? You look into the history of M13 or 16 or whatever you call these guys, the ones that are really heavily dense in El Salvador. Well, who funded them? Who started them, right? So it's going to be very, very, we have to keep our eyes on the global South, because God only knows, they're going to push back. The United States empire is not going to sit down, take this quietly. They're not giving up their resources. They're not going to allow another monetary system to come in there the way they did this in El Salvador. So all eyes, especially Cuba, fam, right? Like, we know the United States empire hasn't even taken a look at
Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, because Anthony Blinken just got back together with Guaido. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
He tried to get with Venezuela, got rejected, went right back to Guaido, who's like, yeah, welcome back, baby. And it's so stupid. They look like clowns. He looks like a clown. The U.S. State Department looks like clowns because you already recognize that Maduro has the power.
Yep.
So going back to Guaido, it's like, okay, yeah, it just looks really bad, stupid. But
all right. So that's it. Eyes on the global South. Okay. So how many people we got in here? Let's see. We got 311, fam. We doubled our numbers just like that, with a huge announcement coming. On Rockfin, we got 60. We have some super rays. But before we read the super rays and do this, I'm going to give the floor to Fam, because Fam has an enormous announcement. As you know, I made it April Fool's.
You made it sound like I'm pregnant or something. Like,
Fam, just name him Craig. This is a huge announcement.
I would not name it Craig Pasta. Jesus Christ.
But this is a huge announcement, everybody, and everybody's still trickling in. The numbers are still going on, fam. So I'm trying to kind of riff over here because we're at 350. This is a huge announcement, so don't lie.
It's not.
It is. It's amazing.
It is, but it's not.
Great.
It's okay.
It's the fruit of the labors. It's something that's deserved. It's something that's awesome. So now that we have over 350 people there, fam, I am going to give you the floor and let you make the announcement. Hold on.
Now I feel awkward. No, don't. Now I feel so awkward. God.
Good. You should. I'm like the father embarrassing you.
You are so embarrassing to me. So, all right. I don't know. This is so funny.
Don Kemper wants to know if we're getting married.
No, we are not getting married. Oh, God. I can't. No, I can't. I'm like so freaking. We are not getting married, guys. I'm sorry to break it to you, but no.
You got to take it slow. We're not ones to jump into marriage.
Please don't start rumors, Pasta.
It's not me who starts them. It's not me who starts them. And for everybody who just joined in, Fan Fiorella is making an announcement, ladies and gentlemen. That's an announcement.
Oh my God.
Fiorella Isabel. Just hold on tight. Here she is. Fam, you have the microphone.
You're so ridiculous, Pasta. Okay. So I'm moving to Moscow. I can't even say this. Like, I'm laughing, hysterical. I'm moving to Moscow, and I will be working for RT International in Moscow as what I'm doing now, basically. I don't know, as a journalist, whatever. And yeah, it's going to be crazy because I don't speak a word of Russian at all whatsoever. I know vodka. I know pravda. I know one phrase my friend taught me. Yeah, I don't know much at all. So I will be there. We will still continue the show. I'm also going to start my own channel too. Pasta has a show with Steve. But yeah, we're still going to continue doing the Convo Couch. It'll probably be nighttime for me when we do it. So yeah, it's just, yeah, that's it. It's not.
Yay!
I don't know what else to say.
Fee's not moving to, where did somebody ask? They're like, oh, what's going on? You're moving to the global South? No.
That is like eventually where I would like to be honest, for sure. Because
I'd like to be there too. Yeah.
I speak the language too. We know a lot about it. It's, it's where I'm from. And yeah, but there's a lot happening right now in the East. Obviously, it's the place to be right now. And I really want to try to go to Ukraine. There's some people that I know are in Russia and are going to Russia. And I'm excited to really meet up with some journalists there and really, really be there, because there's a lot of things that we hear from here, right? And I'm the kind of person, as you guys know, I like to be on the ground. I like to be in the places. So there's no doubt that what we're saying is true, which is why we go to these places like Nicaragua, Honduras, Peru, and we want to go to Colombia as well. So that's why, because I think it's important right now to be there. There is a shift happening, as we've talked about here, from from unilateralism to multipolarity. There's also the whole Belt and Road Initiative happening in China, and I think the RT's focus is, as far as I know, is going to shift towards the East because of, one, the censorship that's been happening, and two, just the general geopolitical shift happening as well. So they have an audience there, and I'm going to be deep diving into the East and what's going on over there as well. So yeah, that's it. So that's my announcement. I didn't want to say until I got my visa. So I have my visa, and I'll be leaving early June to go to Moscow. So
that's it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Fee, you knew, somebody said the whole time, I always knew she was a goddamn Russian bot. Like, of course we do. Like, come on now and stuff. But yeah, that's it. Fee's on her way. She's going to Moscow. We are still going to do the Convo Couch. We're going to do it as much as we can. Obviously, with Fee going over there might be times where they might be sending her to, who knows, Kharkov or Mariupol or the regions. We don't know. So if that happens and she's gone away for a couple of days, I'll fill in the blanks once she's gone. And but I don't think we're going to miss a beat, guys. I've had a relationship with some of the people over at RT. They call me too as well, so they understand what the Convo Couch is about and they're supportive of it. And that's really, really cool. So for Fee to get this opportunity to go over there and do that while we can still keep our show, I think for starting a morning show, I picked the wrong partner in Fee. She's not a morning girl. So, you know what I'm saying? She's more of a night girl, vampire, lives by the night. You know what I'm saying? She's that. And I've always been that way. We're in the restaurant business. You're night guys. But I've always wanted to take a shot at this and do a day show. And Fee gave me the blessings to go ahead and do it with Steve. Because we are fam. We're all fam. And that's, we're always going to be fam. I've prepared for, when Fee, if she gets taken off to the big times, that to keep the ball rolling over here. But like I said, we're still doing the Convo Couch. We're still going to rock it. Fee's going to do this new thing. Guys, get on Odyssey. Odyssey has RT. I don't know if Rumble's still doing it, but watch RT International. Pretty soon you're going to see Fee behind the big desk over there, kicking ass and taking names. I think they know they're getting an unbelievable journalist, commentator person to join their team. And so this is just a really positive move for all of us. You know what I'm saying? Because as Fee goes, she elevates me. I'm doing that thing that Ungi told me about a long time ago. Ungi's like, when you find a good singer or musician, get in there and join them and hide behind them. So, I've been hiding behind Fee for 5 fucking years. I got to continue to do it now. So go make us more famous and make us more money there, girl. Yay. Just kidding. But no.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You're right.
Oh.
Stage left. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I accepted this of course, this is the time to accept this, right? I'm literally walking into a very, very precarious situation that we're in right now, but I kind of tend to run towards those situations, if you haven't noticed, because I think that's where the adversarial journalism is, right? We're pretty much in a war with Russia via proxy. And the censorship here, the way they shut RT America down and a lot of our friends that were affected is absolutely disgusting. And RT, we've been watching it for a while, and we felt that they were fair in terms of what they presented. They presented a lot of on the ground coverage, a lot of documentaries, and a lot of people have worked there that we know. And Caleb Maupin, is our good friend, and he was definitely involved in this process, and he's just been wonderful to really kind of like, he's been to Moscow, and he gave me like the rundown a little bit, and I'm like excited, and I feel happy to be working for a company once I actually get there, that I'm going to work for a company that is actually going to allow me to continue expressing how I feel here and do this show, and that isn't censoring me, and that isn't, because from every single person that that's worked for RT that we know, they've said, hey, they don't censor us, they don't tell us what to say, they're very good employers. So that's what I look forward to. I don't want to work for CNN. A lot of people, when this happened, they ran away because they were like, oh no, I'm never going to get a career on CNN or MSNBC or BBC. They want to work for mainstream media. I don't want to work for mainstream media. In fact, I've been my own boss for a while. We both have. And so, that working for a network is going to be a little bit different, but at the same time, you guys know that I don't allow myself to be bullied into saying something I don't believe in. Right. And so I think that's part of it too. It'll be an interesting journey to see how things are run by the Kremlin. I'm going to be right in Moscow. So yeah.
And we're going to still continue to do the things we do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we're still going to cover elections globally. I'm going to be in the States. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what type of collaboration, I can be doing with the Fee, with RT, because, they have an open door. Like I said, they've built a relationship. But even still, it's like, they're supportive of what we do too as well. And that's just great when, if you have a situation where it could have been a situation with network, like, if it was CNN, they'd say, all right, CNN or the Convo Couch, choose. That's something that they could have done. But RT has not done that. They have been supportive, and it's great. And I am so uber excited for my partner. For years, we had talked about moving to Moscow and stuff like that.
As a
now
joke,
it's actually
we have
happening.
the clock.
Yeah,
we have
the Moscow clock, right?
The Moscow clock.
Yeah.
Since we started the show, I think since we started the show in the studio at home, we had the Moscow clock,
from the very first time. Yeah.
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 So
it's funny when you walk into our house. Some people, fam's got a little flag over there. She's worn her "I Love Putin" shirt before. It's like, we're mocking half the time and whatnot and stuff. But how we feel. So yeah. Yeah.
So get ready for people to continue calling me what they've been calling me for years now.
Even more now.
A Russian asset. Yeah. They're going to be like, I told you she's Putinist.
We didn't get it done. Wyatt was going to do the same thing to the Pope he was going to do to you with a babushka hat, and like, oh, we have your new Twitter over here, Russian state affiliate media right there. But we didn't do it. We didn't get it done.
They're going to do it soon enough, like once it's official, So, yeah.
So that is the big news, guys. Breaking news. Fiorello will be going to Moscow. But first, before we go to Moscow, Oz, slide 75. I know you're going to kill me, but it's just the give, send, go, because we do have some business to handle before Fee goes to drink, vodka in the capital. And that is, we got to get to Colombia, guys. And this is important right now. I didn't even put something in the doc today. In the northern part of Colombia, there was a militia group kind of taking hold near the coast and locking things down. The country is ready to blow, right? Ready to blow. Mm-hmm. And then more than ever, we need to get over there and observe these elections to make sure they are fair. There's a lot of thought process. It could be 2 rounds. A lot of people feel that Petro, who Fam has talked about, could win this thing in the first round, right? So that is big, but we got to get over there. So please, givesendgo.com/support the Convo Couch, even though Fee is going to be now called Fiorella Svetlana. I can't even say it. Svetlana Isabel.
So I got my visa and they spelled my name a certain Russian way, which is hilarious.
It's already happening. It is already happening. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Fiorella will be joining the RT International crew live from Moscow. Get your Odyssey going. Make sure you make sure you share. I'll be doing the show the normal times. She'll be at night, but we're going to still continue the Convo Couch. Nothing has changed other than the distance between us, the space between us. Now I'm going to change our stupid bullshit story that I made up about, what was our song?
The soy sauces?
Yeah, the soy sauces about never tearing us apart.
INX or whatever it's called.
In excess, INX.
Whatever.
In excess, you millennial. Now it's going to be changed to the space between us. You know that song, fam?
That's Dave Matthews.
Oh, wait, we are not doing
Yeah, he hates Dave Matthews.
The most
I actually
overrated
like Dave
band of
Matthews.
all
I know,
time.
I know. I'm sorry. I like them. But
So, guys, there you go.
anyway,
Go to the Give, Send, Go. Do what you can do, guys. Help us out in any way, shape, or form. I will put the links in the chats. Let me read some super rays really, really quick, fam, and then we'll move on because some people did send some congratulatory tips.
Thank you,
in the super rays. Trey Wright, happy Friday, y'all beautiful humans. Thank you, Trey, so much. Trey made a great video on Odyssey. I watched it today. A little small video saying that you should go to the Convo Couch and support them because he feels we're genuine. He feels that we need to support independent media and the voices that will go out there and tell the truth and do the things that need to be done in this crazy climate right now, because a lot of people care for themselves. They take that money and they do the things you got to do. We're gonna spit it to you straight. We've always done that here, and I think we've had a little development ourselves, a little political development ourselves. We're different people than when we started the show 5 years ago. Because, like Fam says, you get new information. New information comes to light. You change your views or your analogy based upon the new information. So that's where we're at. But we're gonna always be honest, and that's important. Mandy Zimrarelli, thank you so much for the Super 8 contribution. It is always appreciated in the couch. Vidal Gomez Jr., thank you for the Super 8 contribution. It is always appreciated in the couch. And Devin Wolf says, congrats, Fee. You're one of the best to do it. Excited for you. We are all excited for Fam Fiorella. Svetlana. Svetlana. She's over there.
I do have the hat ready. So
you got it ready.
But I have to take off the communist thing because they're not communists.
Okay. Guys, you can share it on Twitter. Do what you got to do. Get on over to the givesendandgo.com/support the Convo Couch. Fiorella going to RT International in Moscow, but the Convo Couch is still alive and well, fam.
Now, fam's back on track.
Back on track.
To deliver the rest of the news we got. So Biden, our friend Joe, our good friend Joe, he's been taking photo ops with Chris Smalls and several members of the Amazon Labor Union. You know, he's been talking about being a good Democrat union guy. And of course, we know that he's been talking out of both sides of his mouth because that's Joe Biden and that's always been who he is. But people still want to believe that somebody will save them, right? That something's going to happen, that Chris Smalls is magically going to come in there and everything will be, oh, this is great. Now unions will be respected. No, Democrats have long backed unions, but unions have turned corrupt because this is what happens. I mean, Pasta talks about Jimmy Hoffa all the time, but he's not the only one. Mm-hmm. So Sanders wrote a very angry worded letter. It wasn't even angry worded. He called on Joe Biden to cut Amazon out of the U.S. federal contracts. And so another thing that I'm going to do is get LASIK because I got to be reading stuff and I have astigmatism. Anyway, so Bernie Sanders said on April 26th, around that time, he said that he asked Joe Biden to issue an executive order to cut off the federal contracts to Amazon.com until the e-commerce company stopped what he said was illegal anti-union activity. And he said in particular, as you may know, Amazon, one of the largest and most profitable corporations in America, is the poster child as to why this anti-union busting executive order is needed now more than ever. Sanders said in a letter to Biden, which Politico reported on. Now, in spite of Bernie doing that, and in spite of this, look at the pictures of Biden, Kamala, and then you have Chris Smalls, who has been on the show before. I have nothing against the guy. I'm not, I support unions, but at this time, you need more than just than unions, because you're still working within the system. And then, of course, he took another picture with him. It was great. Chris Smalls made a tweet saying, oh, I met with the president. And so all these people, all these, cappuccino commies and champagne socialists, right? They're so happy. And this guy says, do you think Trump would be inviting Chris Smalls and the union movement to the White House? I don't love Biden. Heck, I don't even like him. I don't really like him. But this is fire. So all it takes is a photo op for these people to, to say, okay, Biden's great now. This is how these people are so easily like convinced, right? But fam, what ended up happening is that Biden actually approved a huge federal contracts for Amazon anyway, to the point where Jacobin had to write about it. Okay, David Serrata and Matthew Cunningham wrote this article on Jacobin and on another outlet. And they talked about how Joe Biden in 2020, when he ran, one of the things he talked about was to ensure that companies would only get federal contracts if they were neutral in union elections. And he campaigned on that, just like he campaigned on student debt relief and a bunch of other things that he backed away from, right? But Amazon was just awarded $10 billion in federal contracts, despite the corporation's union busting, because this is what they've been doing, right? And so obviously Joe Biden didn't fulfill his promise. And the contract decision came as Amazon responded to its workers' first successful union drive by busting the organizing drive that followed. And again, Joe Biden going back on his promise shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, but I think a lot of these progressives, like I said, they're easily duped. I think they're the most easily duped out of everybody, including Republicans. I think they latch on to this hope that it's just not in the realm of reality, right? And so Biden's National Security Agency, the NSA, ratified a $10 billion cloud computing contract for Amazon, and that they hired the brother of Biden's top aide as a lobbyist days after the 2020 election. So before he won, he was saying he wasn't going to do that. Days after he won, he went back on his word. And the days later, Amazon received the NSA contract, and then the Amazon labor union lost its second union election bid by a 2-1 margin at another Staten Island warehouse after Amazon mounted a furious campaign to halt the organizing drive. So that's what stopped it, essentially, right? Because they were successful on one end, and then they got, the anti-union Amazon came in and they completely destroyed it. So in essence, they say, while Amazon was doubling down on its union busting, the Biden administration was delivering a massive federal contract to the company, signaling to Amazon executives that he is so far not interested in fulfilling his pledge. So this is what Kristen Small said, right? And Crystal Ball retweeted or put on Instagram, just met the president, LOL. He said I got him in trouble. So
good, he put.
Okay, so I mean, does he really believe that shit?
Does he really believe that? Does he really believe that he got the president in trouble? Come on, Chris. Come on. And and the whole thing about going to meet him because you think it's going to elevate the situation. No, not even the fact that the co-option that can take place that we've seen from almost every single leftist outlet out there that eventually gets swallowed up by the establishment. Biden was the architect for the conditions that created the fact that you are fighting like the Dickens that we are all living in right now. And NAFTA being the biggest one, right? Sending all the jobs overseas, whatnot, right? Okay, the bankruptcy bill, that was a smack right in the nuts to the middle class working people right there, okay? All the money for Wall Street, the guy's been he's been at the top of the food chain for making sure. I mean, even in his own goddamn state where he comes from is known as where corporations go to get away with shit. I mean, it's just ridiculous to think that. Number two, you got to use your power for the right, Chris. Use your power. You should have never invited Bernie Sanders and AOC because it's not going to elevate it. You let them know, like, hey, you turned our back on us. You don't come with us. What kind of message do you think that would have sent to the other Congress people out there had you done that? Instead, you will open arms to these people. Oh, this ain't about Republican or Democrat, but let these progressives come on in, and now let's hype up the progressives. Just because you say this isn't about Republican or Democrat doesn't mean it's so if the actions don't back it up. And at the end of the day, what did we get? What did we get? Just because you form a union doesn't mean it's going to be great. Doesn't mean you're going to get the working, the conditions that you need. Are we going to be able to see Amazon workers buy houses on their salary the way it was back in the days when our grandparents were working in the factories and working on things over here? Is that what we're going to see? Because if we don't see that, what are we going to get? It's like they threw us in a cage, took away the steak from us, threw a small piece of meat, and you said, you see, look what we got. Look what we got. Take a look at this. I mean, this whole thing stinks to high heavens. I mean, and I'm glad you got in there and you fought and you did something. But what did we get? What did we get? We haven't gotten anything yet. We don't know. Use your power correctly. And don't forget that this guy that you're going to shake his hands, he's the one who created all the conditions in which we're swimming in right now. Plain and simple. I mean, fam, years of Biden kicking the working class in the nuts. And now you're going to think that he's going to do something? You really think that he's in trouble for coming to see you? Hell no. They're happy that you went and seen him. They're like, okay, at least the Democrats are getting this labor movement under control. Let's co-opt it and do what we got to do with it. That's what it is.
Yeah, they're trying to co-opt it. They're trying. There's no way. And I've said this before. You know, you don't get elevated and put in front of Congress. And you don't get to go on all these shows and all this mainstream media without them having an agenda. And, you know, if Chris can see through that and see that they're trying to work him while he's trying to work them, it's because this is what happens. This is why you cannot solve the problem from the same system that created it, right? So you have to go outside the system. You can't rely on the same system or the representatives of that system to fix this, because it is beyond reform at this point. Because you can't, even if you have a union, that union easily gets co-opted and then starts being run in mimicking corporations, because we live in a corporate, state. Like we live essentially now in an oligarchy. So there's no, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying go outside of the system to do it. Do not rely on these people. Make these people come to you instead. Like to make them try to actually do something and work and try to you have to have like the upper hand. And right now it seems like they're trying to work him, right? They're trying to co-opt this whole thing. And that's what I see, unfortunately. So it's unfortunate. But yeah,
Biden's always been for big business, fam. In Delaware, it's some of the laxest laws out there for businesses to operate. I mean, he's for big business. He's always been for big business. It shouldn't surprise you that he's going to give the contract to Amazon. Forget about it. I mean, the guy's, and also he's a pathological liar, if we haven't figured that one out by now. So, bad move. The whole thing just stinks the way it's been handled. So,
and it does. And so Biden lies all the time. And Biden is just he's a puppet, right? At this point, he's not. People make fun of him. He's not like looked on as the strong leader either. Okay. And he's not really calling the shots here. As we say, the State Department is pretty much in control. But Biden does this thing again, where this is the guy you're relying on to do anything for Amazon. Guys, come on. Like, look, he's announcing that for the first time, Pasta, in over 50 years, the White House will host a conference on hunger, nutrition, and health. Because a conference on hunger, nutrition, and health is really gonna want to feed people. Gonna help them. Really, health. We literally you literally are poisoning people in so many ways. I'm not gonna get into because we're on YouTube. But let's just leave it at that. The country that has Monsanto, Bayer, Big Pharma is having a whole thing on hunger, nutrition, and health, while we have like homelessness crisis, inflation, 40-year high of inflation. Like, really? So a conference, why don't you just fucking help people? Like, it's laughable at this point, right?
It's ironic to me. The guy who bombs people left and right. You want to talk about, what I'm saying? How many people has he starved out? And you're going to have listen. I mean, I almost want to lose it sometimes to think we're at this point right now where you're going to actually listen to what these people are saying. Every single word, every single day this guy opens his mouth. And to see idiots online push back and share this stuff.
Yay. Go Joe Biden. Let's talk about how poor you are.
Ma'am, it would have been so much awful if Trump was in there. So you should be thankful.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Totally. They just keep rehabilitating Trump, right? Trump's not here. Forget about Trump. You're not allowed to mention Trump.
Period. They still mention it. We saw a sign the other day with somebody spinning about Trump's got a small penis. It's like, what does Trump got to do with this thing? What's he got to do with this thing?
So Radical Jesus, this account posted, why are the Dems doing this without first ending the filibuster? They know it won't pass yet. Exactly.
Did you want to play that video, by the way?
Oh, are we? No, that's okay.
Skip it? Okay. Good.
Yeah, we don't have to hear him. Well, you know what? Fine. Let's go ahead and play it. Let's go. Just for kicks and giggles.
It's amusing to watch Biden stuff, you know.
Shits and giggles.
Anti-hunger and nutrition advocates, food companies, local and state governments, tribal and territory communities to lay out our plan to combat hunger and improve nutrition for every American. It really matters. Too many families don't know where they're going to get their next meal. There are too many empty chairs around the kitchen table because a loved one was taken by heart disease, diabetes, or other diet-oriented diseases, which are some of the leading causes of death in our country. And the toll of these diseases are not distributed equally. It's higher in certain racial and ethnic groups, including Black and Hispanics and Native Americans,
cruelty.
Families with low incomes,
Black, Hispanics,
and those living in rural areas. The COVID-19 pandemic was a stark reminder of the need for urgent, sustained action. As more Americans experienced hunger, we saw diet-related diseases heighten the risk of severe COVID. It's time we make real change.
We have to
I'm committed to taking bold steps that are going to help end hunger and enable everyone to have access to affordable, healthy food and safe places to be physically active.
Access to food now.
We can't do this alone.
Access to healthy food, fam.
So go to whitehouse.gov/Hunger Health Conference to find out more about the conference and get involved. Together, let's build a healthier future for all Americans.
Jesus Christ. That was painful. I'm doing everything. I'm taking bold action by talking about it. We're not going to do anything, though. We're not going to feed all the unhoused people. We're not going to house them. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to forgive student debt. We're not going to do any of this shit, right? We're not going to give you health care. We're going to talk about COVID and all the things we did, which was pretty much nothing compared to what other countries did. People are screwed now. It's comedic pasta. It would be fully funny if we weren't living it. That's another reason why I'm so glad in a way. And I say this, and I feel bad because one of the things for me was I don't want to just leave because then who's going to be left to fight here, right? But that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad I'm getting the hell out of here because things are getting really bad here, guys. And I'm not exaggerating. They're getting really bad.
It's like we're saying that all he does is talk, but he can barely even talk, fam. We can continue with the section. I'm not going to slow you down.
No, yeah, but I mean, you're right. It's just
he barely even talk. Oz was going.
It's cruel at this point to have him, but what's your other choice, Kamala? Jesus Christ. So this guy posted this, right? Because the Democrats are supposed to get this. Can you do the Jimmy Dore laugh? The Democrats are to force vote next week on Roe v. Wade decision.
That thing, right?
Yeah. They're to force the vote on Roe v. Wade.
No, they're not. No.
I swear to God.
Why did I catch this?
Swear to God. And this guy's like, why are they doing this? Because they have to end the filibuster. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. He's absolutely right. But this is what they're doing, Pasta. This is theatrics. More theatrics here. I want to take all of these people and French Revolution them out of existence. Next week, the U.S. Senate is going to vote on legislation to codify women's right to seek abortion into federal law. Chuck the Schmuck Schumer said from the Senate floor. Schumer will move to tee up the bill on Monday. So we're going to be looking for that theatrics on Monday, setting up an initial vote for Wednesday. It will be the second vote Schumer has forced on the issue. The Senate rejected a similar bill in a 46-48 vote earlier this year, with Senator Joe Manchin voting with Senate Republicans because that's part of the game. Democrats have made changes to the bill to address concerns. Oh, and get this, shore up support within their conference. That includes striking a non-binding, quote, finding section that, among other provisions, referred to restrictions on abortion as, here we go, perpetuating white supremacy, and called it a tool of gender oppression. It's not clear if those changes will be enough to get all 50 Democrats. Manchin indicated that he hadn't yet seen the updated text And Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin, Democrat from Illinois, said he wasn't sure if they would be able to pick up Manchin's vote. So basically they're telling you it's not going to happen, but they're also telling you this is white supremacy while they just gave $33 billion to the Azov battalion and Nazis, essentially. I mean, it's essentially for weapons, right?
Yeah.
That, where they end up? In the hands of Russians. Yeah. Because the Russians are constantly talking about it. They're like, thanks for the weapons.
Yeah. Constantly confiscating them before they get into the hands they need to get into. You know what I'm saying? Half of them get blown up, half of them get into the Russians, very little's getting to the. But you know what? Here's the thing. The money's flowing, comes out of our printing press into the military industrial complex's pocket. And then therefore, you know what? Inflation. I know. Inflation. And then what are we left with? $7 a gas or $7 a gallon for gasoline out here, maybe sometime coming soon. It's ridiculous. And how many homeless people on the streets and stuff. If we took $33 billion and we subsidized it with our own American people for gas money, that would probably help out a lot of fucking people in this country. It really would. But instead, we got to give $33 billion to Ukraine, a situation in which we propagated, we pushed the puppet government, we're responsible for. It's mind blowing. And it's just amazing that people don't pick up on this stuff. I mean, at what point are you going to wake up, ladies and gentlemen? At what point?
Yeah. And
speaking about somebody who finally woke up.
Yeah. So are they going to wake up, though? Because I was talking to somebody, I forget, who was I talking to? I think I was talking to one of our journalist friends, and they were like, the revolution isn't going to happen in the United States. And it's not. I really don't think it is. For the longest time, I was like trying, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's see if people are I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon here. And it's for a lot of reasons. Among the biggest is propaganda, right? People are so propagandized here, and we're censored. A lot of us said, like, if we were able to transmit to millions of people, like, and have a network that we could that would do that, then I think things would be different. But look what they did to the network that was even slightly just oppositional to what they were saying. They got rid of it. They get rid of anything that is oppositional. So I don't think it's going to happen here. I think the revolution is going to happen in the global south. And
it's never going to happen here because people don't agree with each other. We're split. They have the people divided. That's one thing they have really accomplished. Yeah. That is the ruling class, is the fact that we're divided. And I think it's very easy for people like me, you, Glory, when we get out in the streets, Steve, we see that we can understand where can we agree on. We can see the greater danger, right? Which is the ruling class with that 1%. That not even the 1%, that 0.005% of whatever, that small group and stuff like that. And until they're dealt with, what I'm saying, nothing's ever going to change. But when they are dealt with, then we can all get in a room as human beings and decide what's best for all of us. But until they're gone, forget about it. And the one thing they have accomplished more than anything is keeping us divided. By golly, gosh darn it, golly gee, we are divided.
It's the 50s again, fam. So one of the people that is an instrument of division, right? Because so what happened is, after the rant we showed the other day where Anna was, attacking everybody and saying, everybody, I'm done with all of them. And she, like I said, she started with Republicans, and then she even went after the Democrats. And then I don't think we showed the whole thing, but she then talked about the squad. And that video went like viral because the Republicans were sharing it, making fun of it because they thought she was being ridiculous, and she was being ridiculous. Like it was ridiculous. And so she responded, right, to these Republicans that she went back to blaming them, because a lot of people were like, oh my God, Anna came around. She's actually saying the squad. She's criticizing the squad. And, and Jimmy shared her, like, he was laughing, right? He was like, because she started saying the same thing that a lot of us have been saying forever, right? And I was like, I'll give her a week or so. She took 24 hours before she went back. Went back and moonwalked, right, as you like to say, and blamed Republicans again. And the Anna is a really useful tool for liberals and for the right too, because they think, a lot of the conservatives think that that's what the left is, right? And you couldn't be more wrong. I couldn't be more different than Anna Kasparian. I mean, two completely different ideological views, yet she considers herself on the left, and so do I. Mm-hmm. Right? So does it matter anymore what is left? I mean, it's just... To me, it's just like, I don't want to be associated.
Yeah.
If you conservatives, Republicans, whatever you are, think that that's the left, I don't want to be associated with that, because that's not what I believe. I don't react like that. I'm not going to make this about bipartisan or partisan bullshit that we know it's not. We know the Democrats are just as guilty of manipulating as the Republicans. This is tiring already to say this all the time, right?
Yeah.
So
terrible.
You want to say anything before I play the video?
No, just everybody continue to hit that like button. Over 500 people chilling out on YouTube and about 90 people, almost 100 on the Rockfin. So please hit the thumbs up. And then, fam, I have an idea what we can do for charity. After we play Anna, let me just bounce it off you and tell me what you think.
Okay.
Welcome to TYT. I'm your host, Anna Kasparian. And conservatives calling me out on social media saying Anna Kasparian had a meltdown.
Yeah,
they
you
shared
did.
video from the show yesterday where I was specifically calling out the Republican Party in forcing women to bring to term fetuses without any say over their own bodies, while also, by the way, fighting aggressively against any type of social spending program, any type of regulation that would make childcare affordable for people, that would create, a social safety net so parents could be parents and so children could be raised in a happy, healthy environment, if that's genuinely what they want. They shared that rant acting as if my meltdown was totally unwarranted. And I'm so happy they're doing it, because please let them know. Let them know, folks. Let Americans know what the right wing really stands for in this country. They want to force you to bring to term fetuses. They want you to have babies that they will then abandon the second that baby is born. The second it's born. No paid family leave, no affordable childcare, nothing to help you with your medical bills.
Democrats are offering that, right?
Your maternity
Democrats are
bills.
offering that? Okay.
If you don't happen to have health care. Because, the one thing that Republicans never want to talk about, and I wish Democrats would force them to talk about, but it turns out Democrats don't really talk, they don't want to talk about these issues either, is the fact that they want to screw you, that they want to empower the corporate elite in this country to continue to rob you.
I think.
That's the Republican Party. Keep sharing my video. You're doing me a favor. Love every minute of it.
She's just yesterday. Yep.
Do you think she had a phone call?
She definitely got a phone call. She got an email, a phone call, or a talk and stuff like that. But I do have an idea, fam.
Democrats.
We don't want to talk about that either. Your president
Democrats
said
don't
that.
offer any of the shit she said Republicans don't offer. They don't.
Go ahead. I was just about to say the president, the Democratic president that she's talking about, once said that it shouldn't be just up to a woman to decide to do with her body when it's pertaining to.
I wish I would have put that in the folder.
Literally.
Literally
a long time ago. And this is the guy, you know what I'm saying? And I have an idea, fam. Guys, let's try to make this happen. Fam Fiorella will debate Anna Kasparian on anything, on whether the Democrats are just as bad as the Republicans. And we'll finish up the night. I will have a steel cage MMA fight with Cenk Uygur if he accepts my thing. And we'll get in the cage. We'll get in the octagon and work it out if he wants, because that will raise a lot of bucks. I know people would like me to see that happen. Come on, me and Chunk in the ring.
I think they would like to see me and Anna in the ring.
Yeah, you're going too far now. They're like, let's keep it PG over here. Yeah.
Fam, it's just this woman, and like I said, she's perfect because the right hates people like her. You know what I mean? Like, she's perfect for they are going to continue making fun of her till no end, and she's going to continue talking back. She's like AOC in that regard, right? It's like they do this, and the thing is, none of what she said, what she said is true. Republicans don't support that, but neither do Democrats. So my whole thing with these people is that they exist to continue mentally brainwashing you to think that it's progressive to think that Democrats can be reformed.
Yeah.
Right. And we found out very quickly that's not a possibility. We've been doing this for a while now. And we tried. We gave those people the benefit of the doubt. They said, hey, we can go in the system and fix it. We can fix it. We can reform it. Guess what? It didn't work. Okay, well, then we can have a two-pronged system where we can reform the Democratic Party and then go outside the party too. That also didn't work.
Yeah.
Because we don't have fair elections either, right? And you can't just go third party anymore because we don't have fair elections. So it's just like this thing where as long as people like her exist, to me, they're more dangerous because they keep you believing that Republicans and Democrats are any different, and they're not. And they will say they are. They will say there's still a difference. You're crazy to say they're not different. No, there's very little difference. Like it's they use those differences to divide us. And as Pasta said, that is one of the biggest I think it's the biggest hurdle, the division through the propaganda from these people for us coming together and actually fighting the real enemy, right?
Yeah. And it's the wrong conversation too, Fee, right? I know we're going to put the video. Why are we talking about why there are so many unwanted pregnancies? That's where you fix it. Therefore, everybody, if they were truly like all about the issue or the side they stood on, whether it's, hey, a woman's right to choose, hey, we want less abortions, then fix the actual problem. You know what I'm saying? And I said the other day, I know the dude's, he's in the chat right now. I said, I misspoke the other day. I said, Iran and Iraq went through a civil war. It wasn't a civil war. It was a war between two countries, neighboring countries, where 1 million people died. And the steps that Iran took after was to actually go to the core and fix the problem. How do we have so many unwanted pregnancies? That's what we should be fixing. And there is a theory out there that education, a good working conditions, a good working class, you know what I'm saying, will help that. If you give more opportunities out there, then there should be less unwanted pregnancies. And that's, once again, I can't stand on that, but it makes a lot of sense. So why don't we try to fix it from the core, from the actual problem? And that's what we're not talking about. This is just simply a distraction for, once again, to talk about what we talked about, to keep people divided. And you said this the other day, fam. This is one of the biggest wedge issues out there. One of the biggest. You know what I'm saying? And they just brought it back and resurrected it at a time where government across the board, Democrat and Republican, are falling on their face and failing. It's like it's the controlled demolition of the United States economy is happening right before our very own eyes. And it ain't just one side. It's the whole freaking government. So throw this issue out there. We don't even talk about the people like, oh, we don't even care how it got leaked. It got leaked. Come on. They're trying to divide us. Yeah.
And I have a video that I just did where I lay out exactly, what I think this is being used to distract from. But we have this other video I want to play with Jimmy on it the other day. So let's go ahead and play that video.
If we're going to sit around and wait for our elected lawmakers to protect us from these religious zealots and these right-wing authoritarians, man, we have another thing coming. How many times do we need to be disappointed by them? I'm done with them. And personally, I don't speak for everyone in this network. I want to be clear. I'm speaking for myself. I'm done with them completely. The Democratic Party, every single one of them, that includes the squad, I don't care anymore. They have not delivered. They have not delivered. I'm done. It's time to organize, create
Boy, she's only about 5 years too late.
And then she went back. So she said that before, right? And then she went back. That's why I think she had a talking to or something. Because you saw how she was like, Democrats, she was like brushing off the Democrat part. Like, can't trust these people. These people get paid to be propagandists. That's something, some of us will never do. But if the money's good enough, some people will do it. And that's the reality, right? That's the network she works for is you can look back at the Robbie Receipts' article from years ago. You can look at all of that. And by the way, another thing I want to say before we move on to what I think is really this whole thing is being used for. It's not just a right-wing thing. There are people on the left that are anti abortion. People in countries like Nicaragua that we visited, people in a lot of Latin American countries that are to the left economically of the United States are anti-abortion. Whether it's religious, whether it's for whatever reason, they are. And that doesn't mean that, I'm pro-choice. I've said it many times, right? But for me, it's a matter of neither of these people are interested in actually solving this issue. They're interested in fundraising off this issue, especially the Democrats. Republicans too. And there's a lot of hypocrisy. People like Anna were calling everybody anti-vaxxers and for being anti-mandate. And
my body, my choice there, right?
It's my body, my choice, right? It's my body, my choice. Oh, that's different. It's
Here she
different.
goes. Fam, ready? I'm going to do. Oh. That was my Michael Jackson when he flips the hat and he goes,
I was trying to figure out what you were doing.
then he moonwalks.
Oh.
And then he moonwalks.
Okay,
right
that was
back,
pretty
right?
good.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole Michael Jackson flip.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So, guys, this is what I think this is about. And you'll tell me if you agree or not. I did this quick video. It's 2 minutes, 20 seconds. This is what I think. It's a distraction. I think it's
talking about the Supreme Court's 98-page leaked draft majority opinion for overturning Roe v. Wade. But the question everyone should be asking is this even real? Or is this a PR stunt? Like clockwork, the progressive Democrats and liberals organized into the equivalent of a women's march parade outside of D.C. Congresswoman Elizabeth Warren blamed Republicans. AOC tweeted,
Culmination of what Republicans have been fighting for, angling for decades.
and the mantra, my body, my choice, went from canceled truckers and right-wingers against mandates to cheering on the brave women who demand bodily autonomy. And who's leaking this info so perfectly timed with upcoming midterms as a perfect wedge issue for strong Democratic fundraising and a perfect distraction from the fact that the U.S. government just sent another $33 billion towards Ukraine? More money for more weapons that end up arming the remaining Nazi army in the country. Not to mention distracting them from recent attacks on adversarial journalism, as PayPal has banned several independent media news sites that dared stray away from the accepted narrative on Russia and Ukraine. And let's not forget the 80,000-page Pfizer drop that greatly contradicts what the CDC was saying and greatly validates what many who were banned and censored said from the beginning. Politico reported the leak just as John Roberts confirmed it, but the AP reiterated that no ruling is expected before the court's term is up in late June or July. There are 11 state primaries in May, 18 in June, and 1 in July that all precede the likely timeline for an official ruling by SCOTUS. Hot take? The establishment, especially Democrats, orchestrated this entire thing because they're failing and are really unpopular. The leak allows them to fundraise on this and specifically allows the establishment incumbents to push that voters must choose Democrats because this election is too important. Joe Biden himself admits it in the last paragraph of his statement, saying, "It will fall on voters to elect pro-choice officials this November." And finally, Democrats could have long codified Roe v. Wade. In fact, they could do it now by getting rid of the filibuster. But they won't. Ask yourself why. Perhaps you already have the answer.
Yeah, fam. Good video, fam.
So I think it's if you look at the dates, right, of when this would happen, it completely goes along with the primaries coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so obvious to me. I don't understand why. And by the way, yes, nobody's talking about the 80,000 pages of the Pfizer release, which we will be talking about some of the stuff that's in there.
We got to talk about on Monday. I have a bunch of COVID stuff to go over too as well. By the way, I just heard back from Dr. McCullough, fam. He wants to come on the show again. He wants to talk about the IHR and a lot of other little rulings from state legislations around the country on a few other things, boop related. So yeah, we're going to, Monday is going to be a very loaded show for that topic. In fact, there just wasn't enough time today, especially for your announcement. I thought it'd be best for all of us to just stay here on YouTube as one big family, as we did 5 years ago. Under 5 years ago.
Yeah. But yes, fams. That's it for the section.
That's it, by the way. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Remember, go to thegivesendgo.com/support the combo couch. We are going to Colombia to cover the elections, and we need your help. You guys always put us in play. Remember, we have no big donations coming from corporations. We're not sponsored by anybody but you, the people.
And
you
we're
power
demonetized.
We are
on YouTube.
demonetized on YouTube still for now 15 months, going on 16 months. So let's get to some Super 8 contributions. Got 120 people hanging on out, and 420 fam in YouTube. So we got 540 people, guys. That's great. We had almost 600 people earlier. That's amazing. 5 years ago, we started this. It's amazing that we built it up to here, but we got to keep going. And thank you so much for keeping us in play. Devin Wolf, congrats, Fee. You're one of the best to do it. Excited for you. I already read that one. You got to read it again. Game.film. I forgot the past tip in the past streams. Here's some extra. Good luck in Colombia, guys. Much love. And Colta Steven says, congrats, fam. Great news. I am excited for you. If you just joined in now, ladies and gentlemen, Fiorella Isabel made the announcement. Fiorella is going to Moscow. She will be working for RT International. The Combo Couch will still be going, so we will still be here. But that is the big news for the day, guys. Thank you so much for joining in, and thanks for helping us out. We're going to keep it rolling. Fam, next section.
This was interesting. I don't know if you've seen this interview, fam. I think the woman who interviewed him, she had, I don't know if she still has it. I think she still has it, but it was a show on RT where she interviews people. I think we used to watch it sometimes. Oskana, I think is her name. So she did this interview with Putin in 2013, right? She got to interview Putin. And I saw this come up and I figured I would put it up because I think it's really important, not just to show how Putin is and his perception, but also how quickly he was able to really break down what the United States is and their problems very quickly. And we've seen him do that recently. But in 2013, of course, we were not in a proxy war with Russia, right? It was a little bit different. It was before the Maidan coup. And he broke things down pretty well. And he analyzed why the US and Russia are different. And we're going to watch some of these videos, these segments, and talk about it. So the first part, he basically talks about the differences in how Americans are more of an individualistic culture and Russians come from a collectivist culture. And that's true. I learned that very early on in psychology class, because, you know, there's different ways societies are structured. Places like China and more Eastern cultures are a little bit more collectivist. A lot of Latin America is the same way. There's benefits and, you know, there's good and bad to everything, right? It's not all one thing. But this is what he said. So let's go ahead and take a look.
Небольшое уточнение. Просто мой вопрос был не только о американо-иранских отношениях, но и о американо-российских отношениях и наличиях, согласны вы с этим или нет, идеологических фундаментальных противоречий по ключевым вопросам международного права.
Перед встречей с Обамой вы меня прямо и так и толкаете.
Ну, это же очень важно, потому что если страна считает, что ей позволено больше, чем всем остальным, то...
Я думал, что вы не заметите. Нет, вы заметили. Вы действительно такой цепкий боец. Значит, у нас идеологических противоречий на сегодняшний день практически нет. У нас есть фундаментальные культурологические. В основе американского самосознания лежит индивидуалистическая идея. В основе российского – коллективистская. Вот есть один из исследователей Пушкина, который об этом очень точно и ясно сказал. Вот в «Унесённый ветром», помните, там главная героиня, она говорит, что я не могу себе представить, что я буду голодать. Вот для нее это самое главное. А в нашем представлении русского человека, все-таки другие задачи. Это что-то такое за горизонт уходящее, что-то такое душевное, что-то такое связанное с Богом. Понимаете, это немножко разные философии жизни. И поэтому понять друг друга довольно сложно, но можно.
Ну, для этого, наверное, есть международное право для того, чтобы стать
ну да. Ну вот Соединенные Штаты, безусловно, демократическая страна, и она развивалась изначально как демократическое государство. Ведь когда люди начали осваивать этот континент, они приезжали, выстраивали отношения друг с другом. И по факту жизни вынуждены были это делать в диалоге друг с другом. А поэтому она изначально рождалась как фундаментальная демократия. Вместе с тем не будем забывать, что освоение американского континента, вы меня заводите прямо в депри, мне не хочется об этом говорить, но освоение американского континента началось с крупномасштабной этнической чистки, которая не имела себе равных в истории человечества. А ведь европейцы, когда туда приехали, они этим и занимались.
Bam.
What was the last sentence?
On what he said?
Well, the last sentence is, as Americans, this is what they did. I didn't get the last line. But I understand what he's saying. And this is, this is something that's interesting. It's about the individual in the United States. Everybody's looking out for themselves, right? That's how we are bred. You get your freedoms, you do what you want, yada, 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 responsible for yourself, whatnot. Individual responsibility is a huge thing, where it's more of a collective kind of mindset in Russia. And I think that comes with the times, right? That comes with the actual privilege of being not under attack and,
right.
Constantly, having this kind of lifestyle where you can make your own decisions. It's not about what's going on in your community. And it's happened. The individualism is caught so far up with us, right? That we sometimes don't care about our citizens, our friends, our neighbors on the streets that are homeless, right? We've lost that connection because we've been bred to, you're successful in life if you go to school, you acquire more toys, you acquire more money. It's all about you. That's success in life. Where in Russia, success might be more of a collective thing. What is our community doing? How are we thriving? How are we thriving as a state? And that's something that's fundamentally different about United States and Russians.
I agree. And I think for me, that comes from the system we're in, right? We're a capitalist system. Russia comes from the USSR. That was a communist system, as communist as, as it was, as you can try to get to that point, right? And that in itself is two entirely opposing ideologies. You have capitalism, which is essentially what you described just now. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You got to work hard. You got to do this. But if you work hard, you'll reap the rewards. And it's supposed to work a certain way. It's supposed to work a certain way that if you work hard, you're supposed to get this money. What happens though is it now people are working a lot and they're not reaping the rewards because that's the tendency of that to happen, right? People are afraid of communism becoming totalitarianism. Well, with capitalism, it ends up in fascism also because you have this whole thing where you have the corporations owning everything, right? And then you have this technocratic surveillance state that we're entering right now. You have censorship, you have all of that. So people, you don't have to think about it in terms of that, but essentially it's a collective mindset that Russia came from is I think why they have that, which is why I don't think that communism in the Russian sense, the Chinese sense, whatever other sense will work in the United States because the American people have a different way of looking at things, right? And I'm not saying that all collectivism and all individualism is the answer. I think the answer is balance. I think the answer is not, is allowing people to have enough liberty and freedom, but of course at the same time, like there should be attention paid to your community. And that's very much lacking in this country. And that's why we see all the things that are happening in a country that's supposed to be the richest country in the world. Then it's not obviously not working because you don't have that community and there's a lot of lack of that. And the only people that help other people out most of the time are people that don't have money. Most people I know that are very good tippers that, that give things away are the people that have the least. And that's just been my experience. Yeah. But
really done that in the restaurant business, by the way. Yeah, the working class would always give more. What Fee is saying is so true because they also understand what it's like to make it, and they live in that kind of bubble. They understand. The rich people tip the least, and that's just the God's honest truth. Sorry, fam. Go ahead.
No. So, he goes on to talk about He criticizes Stalin, and he talks about Stalin, but then he says even Stalin wouldn't have bombed Japan, a non-nuclear country, the way the United States did. And then he goes on to criticize the United States. And notice how he was telling the interviewer, the journalist, like, you're going to get me into trouble here. And he talked about how the United States was founded on ethnic cleansing. I mean, he said it right out loud.
Yeah, he did.
Guys, a lot of people don't want to talk about that. And the thing is, it's not about harping on it, but it's about understanding that still has an effect today as to how people have developed on whatever side of the aisle they were on. It doesn't matter. It still has an effect and it still haunts people to this day. And if we don't accept the reality of that, we can't move forward. So that's another thing I think that has to happen, where people accept their reality and they don't keep trying to say that everybody is trying to be a white supremacist now, but that that is what happened, and that's a whole thing. And I don't think America was a democratic country or democratic foundation. I do disagree with him there. I think that's part of the problem, is that it's a constitutional republic. Supposedly that's what they wanted, right? Because remember, we have an electoral college. We have representatives. We don't have one person, one vote. Exactly. We don't just vote and say we want this. We don't have that. So yeah. Next video.
Let's go to the next video.
Да, прямо об этом сказать. Она, не знаю, вот человечеству не так много известно из истории. Ну, скажем, уничтожение Карфагена римлянами, да, когда они уходили, они даже землю, так вот легенда гласит, солью посыпали, чтобы там ничего не росло. А освоение американского континента европейцами, там землю никто не посыпал, потому что ее использовали, но уничтожали коренное население. После этого американская история знает рабство. И оно так глубоко проникло. Ведь Колин Пауэлл еще в своей книжке написал, как ему было тяжело. Человеку с темным цветом кожи тяжело было пробиваться, как он всегда чувствовал на себе взгляды окружающих. Значит, это сидит наверняка до сих пор в душах и сердцах людей. Ведь, вот смотрите, мы знаем, во всяком случае сегодня, очень многие стороны советского режима. Знаем Сталина, да? Так, как раньше мы его не знали. Знаем, что это был диктатор, тиран. Я очень сомневаюсь, чтобы Сталин весной 1945 года, если бы у него была атомная бомба, применил бы ее против Германии. В 1941-1942 году, когда стоял вопрос о жизни или смерти государства, может быть, он применил, если бы у него было. А в 1945-м, когда уже противник все сдавался, по сути дела, шансов у него никаких не было, я сомневаюсь, вот я лично. А американцы применили против Японии терпящее поражение, причем против неядерного государства. Знаете, вот у нас большие различия между нами, но это ведь нормально, когда люди с такими большими различиями полны решимости искать пути, которые помогают понимать друг друга. И мне представляется, что у нас нет другого выбора.
Fam, what were we always taught in school? That we dropped the bomb because it would save more lives. And it ended the war early, right? Oz laughed over there because he remembers that crap.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, the matter went off, but it was worth it, right? It was worth it. We have to kill millions of people with a nuclear weapon. We split the atom. When a lot of people, historians, talk about it all the time, the war was ended. It was just a matter of time before it was over. But yet we wanted to send a message to the Russians that look what we could do if we got to do it. So behave. Otherwise, we'll drop one on you too. That's what that was all about. And also like the fact that he goes, and that's just my opinion, fam. You make fun of me when I do it, but now that Mr. Putin has done it, I feel a lot better. Just my personal opinion.
I said it. I was like, oh.
I know you did. I heard you.
It's just my own personal opinion is basically what Putin's saying.
My own personal opinion.
But yeah, I mean, he's right. And I have a tweet from Gonzalo, who will be on the show Monday. He's going to be here Monday. We have Vanessa Beeley Wednesday, by the way. So it'll be great. Great next week. But he really understands. Like, I've never seen one of our presidents say something so honest like that, I guess, in my lifetime. Kennedy would come close, I think, in the past. But I think a couple of presidents have let out little things here and there. But for him to be like, have an interview like this, it's usually a lot of bullshit. I think Donald Trump was the closest thing that came to that inadvertently, right? Oz, go to pasta real quick because I got to plug in I guess my computer came unplugged, so I'm going to plug it in real quick.
Go to me. What do you want from me? What am I going to do over here? You were speaking. Anyways, the human centipede was there, throwing stuff. He's just like, yeah, no communism in Russia anymore, but there's no McDonald's too, he said. There's not even a McDonald's. Okay. And Jorge says, and he and the human Chunkapede also said Chunkapede. Sorry, I said Chunkapede. The U.S. dropping those nukes was so evil. Yeah. Back to fam.
Back to the fams.
Back to
okay, so then the last video I have, it's a really short one. He just finishes it up, and this just shows you that there's been a development in things, right? That things have changed since this last interview. Obviously, it's almost 10 years later, and the situation is different. But it seems to me Russia was willing to work with the U.S., but the U.S. has had other plans, just based on this interview, just based on what he's saying. And I don't think, from what I've seen, and this is not because I'm a Russian asset or a Putinist. Now I have to say that. But
you are.
But like it seems to me that they're defending themselves from our empire that wants, control of this region, that wants to continue exerting dominance all over the world. We're doing it with journalism. And it's like you're pushed to a point where you have to respond. And I think that's where it's at. And I don't condone war, but at the same time, I think, I'm not a pacifist. I think like at some point I'm an anti-imperialist. There's a difference, right? Because if somebody hits you, and it provokes you, at some point you have to respond, right? And I'm not about the turn the other cheek and let someone slap me. Sorry. So yeah, I that's the way I'm looking at it. So let's hear what he said. Last part.
И мне представляется, что у нас нет другого выбора. И более того, ведь не случайно, что в критические периоды современной новейшей истории Россия и Соединенные Штаты объединялись и в Первую мировую войну, и во Вторую мировую войну. Вот как бы не противостояли друг другу, а когда вот гром грянул, произошло объединение. Что-то все-таки объединяет, какие-то фундаментальные интересы объединяют. Нам нужно вот на это обращать внимание прежде всего. Знать наши различия, но при этом все-таки обращать внимание на тот позитив, который поможет нам сотрудничать.
So yeah, it just doesn't strike me as somebody that wanted to enter in a proxy war with the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's just the whole great reset stuff. Where do we stand? What does this happen? If the plan was to make sure that the EU was crushed, that plan came to fruition. That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? It's just like, it does seem like all signs are pointing to the fact that he said, F you to the whole situation, didn't want to play games now. And now they're freaking out, they're going as far to almost kind of going to World War III over here, fam. This is getting scary. Yeah. This is getting really scary right now. The tensions are escalating more and more each day, and we hear reports that there are more U.S. troops that are moving inside, the Polish border and getting closer to the Ukraine. And we're hearing all these things right now. And now that, the defense minister said the other day that, they won't permit NATO carrying weapons into the Ukrainians. So what does that mean? They're going to hit a NATO vessel, you know what I'm saying, or something? This thing it looks like it's wilding way out of hand. And it's almost as if the United States is just like, or the Western oligarchs or the ruling class is freaking out about Putin going, screw you.
That's what it seems like to me, because they're really pushing the buttons, right? And anybody that can analyze anything should know Russia is not bluffing when they say that. They're not, because this is like the last stand. They're not going to allow the continued expansion of the West, because then the West would continue to dominate everything and expand. And they're not going to allow that. And now is the time that a lot of people are pushing back against the West. A lot of people are pushing back. So I wanted to read this tweet, and we're going to continue talking about how far they're going, because they're going really far, by Gonzalo, because he said, do you know why Japan attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941? Because the U.S. imposed a total trade embargo and then an oil embargo with the explicit aim of crushing Japan's economy. and ever after always claimed the Japanese attacked us for no reason whatsoever. I remember learning that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was a trade embargo, right? And then it's an economic embargo, and that turns into a hot war. A trade war turns into an economic war, which turns into a hot war. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We were trying to crush Japan.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of illuminating to you know, if you don't know that, but it really just shows you just how much of what we've been taught is a lie.
Yeah. And you know, when they were attacking Pearl Harbor, they were attacking a naval base. They were attacking. That's what they were attacking. You know what I'm saying? They were going after a military institution. When we dropped those fucking bombs, come on, it wasn't military institutions. Big difference, guys. Big difference.
We went after civilians.
Yeah, we didn't care. We didn't care. We didn't give two damns. You know what I'm saying? And we do that shit all the time. We fart the bomb like crazy. Yeah.
And they taught you to believe that that was necessary. They taught you to believe that literally putting a nuclear weapon and nuking millions of people, and then having people still suffer from radiation and get diseases and die anyway. And still to this day, like, and that the consequences of all of that, they did that to show that they could. That was all it was. It wasn't a need. It was a want.
It's flexing muscles.
Exactly. And so I showed Putin. So I'm going to show Zelensky, you know, our guy in Ukraine.
Yeah.
This is Zelensky, fam. Before he was the president, right? This is before, right around the time, 2014 of the Maidan coup, right? And listen to what he says, fam. I want to hear from what you think happens. But listen to what he says here.
И в Крыму люди хотят говорить по-русски, отцепитесь, отстаньте от них. На законном основании дайте им возможность говорить по-русски. Язык никогда не будет делить нашу родную страну. У меня еврейская кровь, я говорю по-русски, но я гражданин Украины. И я люблю эту страну. И не хочу быть частью другой страны. Россия и Украина, мы действительно братские народы. Я знаю миллионы, я знаю тысячи людей, которые живут в России, замечательные люди, мы одного цвета, у нас одинаковая кровь, мы все друг друга понимаем, независимо от языка.
I think the SBU should be knocking on his door, because that's why they're arresting people who have this same type of feeling right over here, and they're hauling people away. The fact they've even killed people in Kiev and stuff, you know what I'm saying, for feeling this way, to feel that there could be unity, to understand the fact that they have close ties with the Russian people. The people along the Donetsk regions over there, they go in and out of these Russian countries. They speak Russian. They're proud. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, you know, he's saying this now, and, you know, I mean,
he said this then,
I'm sorry. If he were to say this now, the SBU, his unit would be rounding people up. He will be rounded up. He should be arrested in accordance with Ukrainian law.
Right. So it's Zelensky versus Zelensky. What happened? Well, I think, you know, funding happened, right? I think, you know, the intelligence apparatus came in, and that's what happened. And that's what happens.
He was never calling the shot, fam. He was a prisoner in his own country. Yep. He can't do anything. If he tries to work out a deal with Russia, the CIA will whack him, or the MI6 will whack him, or the Azov battalion will whack him. He cannot do anything. He is exactly what he was coming into this, an actor. Nothing more, nothing less.
That was a perfect way of summing it up, fam. So just so you guys know, there's all kinds of videos, right, that are on Telegram because they can't be posted on Twitter. People get banned. There's a lot of underground journalism going on. And this is from Ukrainian leaks. And this is a video about a Ukrainian POW that said he was ordered to shoot at civilians. Because you remember, what you keep hearing is that the Russians are killing all these civilians. This guy's saying that they ordered him to shoot civilians. Let's take a look.
Был приказ стрелять на поражение любого движущегося человека. В какой-то момент привезли туда людей, там были женщины и мужчины. Люди, которых привезли, были с повязками. Всех выставили перед нами, и нам был отдан приказ всех их расстрелять. И их хотели расстрелять за то, что якобы было сделано в Буче. Мы отказались от этого страшного приказа. За отказ от приказа нас посадили в яму, нам была представлена охрана. Из числа тех же людей, которые привезли этих людей. Люди были с националистическими какими-то повязками. Ночью так получилось, ребята расслабились, выпившие были. Мы их обезвредили и чудом убежали на сторону Рубежного.
This is one of many videos where you'll see people, a lot of these POWs coming out and saying, yeah, like they were doing this to us, they were forcing us to do this. There were people that were on drugs and got drunk. I mean, he's one of many, hundreds of videos. But if you watch mainstream media, of course, you never see that.
Yeah, they don't play it. They don't play them. And this is the reason why they brought in the Azov battalion from the get-go, because they understood it at one point that the Ukrainian soldier would have too much of a conscience and to have too much of a heart to shoot around their own people. But the Azov battalion, a little bit more fundamentally, radical fan in a certain way. So they knew that eventually the Azov battalion would pull the trigger, right? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and in fact, that's why a lot of Ukrainian soldiers defected to the Russian army in Crimea and whatnot, and stayed, as separatists in the Donetsk region, because they were not going to join, a bunch of crazy fascist militias and stuff, and it just sucks. It really does, because at the end of the day, the people who are going to suffer most are the Ukrainians. It's sad to see a person like that saying, this is what we want us to do. And we saw the video. I don't know if you have it, fam. I hope I don't ruin it, with the Ukrainian soldiers going, we don't take Russian prisoners. We don't take Russian prisoners. We kill them. That's it. Unless it's a lieutenant or above, we don't take Russian prisoners. And one of the Ukrainian soldiers was like, we don't have a cell for you. We have a graveyard instead. That's what they're doing.
I don't have that one. We can play it next time.
Yeah, I saw it. It was really disturbing. It was sad. It was like, holy shit. So they're not taking Russian prisoners. They're just killing you. Boom. That's it.
Yeah. So you guys see that, right? You have Ukrainian prisoners that they take in, and that a lot of them are reporting, hey, they actually treated us better than the Russians did, than the Ukrainians who were trying to get us to do stuff we didn't want to do. And I mean, this is detailed witness reports to a lot of journalists, to a lot of the military that that gets these videos. So I'm not making this up. This is I mean, I don't know what else to say to people that are really on the wrong side of this conflict, that really think what they see in the mainstream media, which, by the way, has lied us into every single war. So I don't know why you would start trusting them now just because you don't like Putin. It's irrelevant what you think of Putin.
Yeah.
What is happening is what's happening, period. So, fam, Zelensky met with George
God.
W.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, virtually.
Can you imagine that phone call, fam? Hey, W, we need you to get back in here. We need you to do a little stunt for us. We need Republicans to believe that, that we're standing behind Zelensky. Can you do a little photo op for us? Just come in there, smile. We'll give you a bologna sandwich and some Cheetos for your work. Please, come on, do it for us. Just imagine that phone call. Oh, do I have? I wanted to paint. Me and Laura were going to paint, some petunias today. Do we have to? But no, he did. And it's sad to see this shit. I mean, this just shows you just one big old party.
Yeah, and this is just, again, narrative management, PR. So Bush called him the Winston Churchill of our time.
I know.
As if Winston Churchill is an admirable figure for one. Bush did always have a tendency to like extremist and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they both have fucking substance abuse problems, right? Churchill was a bad drunk and Zelensky's a cokehead. You know what I'm saying? So
apparently not as much as Amber Heard.
Oh.
We don't have that video, but that was she was savage to do that.
Right on the stand.
So this is what Bush said, right? So I was honored to spend a few minutes talking with President Zelensky, the Winston Churchill of our time, this morning. I thank the president for his leadership, his example, and his commitment to liberty. And I saluted the courage of the Ukrainian people, Bush said in a statement shared through his George W. Bush Presidential Center. I love how all these idiots get centers. They get centers. They become president, and then they get all these foundations and centers. Zelensky assured me that they will not waver in their fight against Putin's barbarism and thuggery. Americans are inspired by their fortitude and resilience. We will continue to stand with Ukrainians as they stand up for their freedom. Zelensky's office talked about this, detailed the meeting, saying that the Ukrainian president had expressed gratitude towards the American people for their support during the conflict and called the sympathy Ukrainians felt towards them following the 9/11 attacks in 2001. Oh yeah, the two wars. The event that got us into a war. That we're still seeing the consequences of that today. Really? Like, I mean, this is just hilarious. Our conversation is important to me because you are an example of a strong leader, Zelensky told the forum. Yes, Zelensky, he's an example of a strong leader that got into one of the most costliest, worst wars of the century.
Yeah. We were attacked by Saudis and he invaded Iraq. Thank you.
And then, of course, there were zero weapons of mass destruction, and then, of course, all the crimes we committed.
Yeah, there was no weapons of mass destruction, forget about it. Set the whole Middle East on fire. Started right there. Wesley Clark, revealed this stuff. Killed over like 1 million people or displaced in Iraq alone.
Millions of dead Iraqis.
And the conservatives allowed this because they don't know what the hell was going on, right? They were all for it. They were promoting this shit. I remember this. This is why I registered as a Democrat at one point, because it was so much justification that we were going to remove the Middle Eastern Hitler. And at that time, it was Saddam Hussein. And meanwhile, how many Christians were killed in northern Iraq? Right? I hope I got that right, because otherwise somebody's going to come after me and whatnot. But please, it was disgusting. And I love this meme, fam. This is fire.
Zelensky with Pelosi, and then and it's funny, but it's also sad that this has really happened. This really happened. Both things happened. These people were attacked for whatever reason by the SBU, by the paramilitary fascists in Ukraine, and they have been attacked like this for years. And then of course you have Pelosi meeting with Zelensky, because this is what she's ignoring, right? They're ignoring this. Yeah. They're ignoring that anything's happening. They're calling them. I think somebody put up. I forget who it was. It might have been White. Put up something how they're referring to them as like right-wing ultranationalists. Mm-hmm. Like they refer to Trumpers as white supremacists. They refer to the truckers as Nazis, but they refer to actual fascists with guns as ultranationalist right.
Yep.
Like what?
Yep. And you can still see the friggin' Ukrainian flags in the bio. I mean, people are so fucking stupid. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
No, I mean, but it's true. So, Oz, I have this tweet. I'm going to go over really quickly, guys, because this is disgusting, and I had to show this. This is how Twitter, by the way, Twitter is working just the same way, right? Like, so this person, Patty O'Putin, so an Irish Russian, said, exposing Twitter support hypocrisy. Conducted a little Twitter experiment while I was banned last week. I tweeted these 5 statements from an old account. So he tweeted, the only good British soldier is a dead British soldier. He said, the only good Ukrainian soldier is a dead Ukrainian soldier. The only good Israeli soldier is a dead Israeli soldier. The only good American soldier is a dead American soldier. The only good Russian soldier is a dead Russian soldier. So then he goes on and explains a little bit. I got a mate to report only one of the tweets, the Russian tweet. A few days later, this account, the account he did it from, was locked. I had to verify the account and delete the tweets to unlock. Take a wild guess which tweet Twitter didn't demand be deleted. The only tweet, Russia, which was actually reported to Twitter support, was deemed acceptable. Twitter demanded that all the others, the United States, Israel, England, and Ukraine, be deleted. And you can see his pictures there and how Twitter made him delete all of the other ones, except the one with the dead Russian soldier.
You can have dead Russian. That's okay.
So dead Russians are allowed, but anything else is not. I mean, this is where we're at right now.
This is where we're at, fam. This is where we're at.
I mean,
that's really some messed up shit right there. But don't worry, Elon Musk is going to come in here and save us.
Oh, Elon, help us, Elon. You're our only hope.
Fam, please be careful
Fam.
with 55 because this is some gross ass shit. This is where we're at.
Fam.
This is where we're at.
This is where we're at. We should just have a segment. This is where we're at.
This is where we're at.
Wall Street Journal opinion, because I love it when the Wall Street Journal, writes. They say, "Oh, it's just an opinion." Yeah, an opinion you hired, essentially. So the U.S. should show it can win a nuclear war. Will the Wall Street Journal let me write an opinion piece on why I think Russia was provoked? Right? No, they're not. They're not going to let me do that. But they will take this. And Nick posted this, and I asked. I said, is this real? Because it's hard to know what's real and what's not these days, right? But yeah, it's real. Look, here's the article. The U.S. should show it can win in a nuclear war. Washington might study Cold War era practices that had major effect on Soviet policymaking. Really? So you want us to show that we can blow ourselves into smithereens? Like, how do you show
we blew up the world, we win?
Iraq? Like, they think Russia is like this little country. They have nuclear weapons too. Are you fucking stupid? I just have no. How can you argue this? How can you argue this? And then there was another one that I didn't show. Where that Wyatt posted, right? It was Washington Post. It's like, don't pay attention to the disinformation Ministry of Truth bullshit. Like, it's just crazy. People are overreacting. Like, these people have I don't know. I don't know how much more blatant, guys, it can get. I don't know how much more blatant. They are willing to blow each other up. Like, they're willing to, the United States is willing to go to a nuclear war with Russia just to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And these idiots, and especially a lot of these organizations that are supposed to be anti-war, are busy trying to walk on eggshells and make sure they blame Putin instead of actually saying, hey, the United States and NATO should stop being aggressors and stop trying to start fucking World War III.
Yeah.
That's pretty simple, right? Where are the anti-imperialist marches? Where the fuck is it? It's nowhere. It's nowhere because they're busy with Ukrainian flags and saying how evil Putin is.
Yep. And let me say something too as well from the conservatives that are really kind of quiet about this whole situation. We're the ones that say well, Americans don't have an interest in doing this. This is we have fatigue. We shouldn't do this anyways. That's not good enough, and your silence sucks. Okay, because this is the same thing we saw in the Iraq War. When you justified situations, you might not justify it now, but you'll just justify it again. You're not justifying it because it's not your team that's doing it. You know what I'm saying? But to be silent and not talk about how we got here, to be silent and not talk about what the empire constantly does, to try to glorify all the past wars that we had justification to do them. You know what I'm saying? And I'll go post World War II, right? I'll leave that out of post World War II. Still, the justification for going around and policing the world from the neoconservatives and the Republican Party is also sad as well. Like, enough is enough. You need to stop it already. You need to speak out what's going up against the empire. I go on Getter and I take a look and see what's going on over there. Great when it comes to pointing out stuff about the boop boop. Terrible when it comes to pointing out about what the empire is doing. If it's the only reason why we shouldn't do this is because it's exhausting right now and it's costing us too much money, that's not a good enough reason. We shouldn't be doing this because we have no right expanding the empire and getting involved in other countries' businesses. And if you're really concerned about the migration that's coming to the border from the south, you'd be concerned with the fact that we're always involved, poking our nose into their business all the time in the global south.
That.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Are we still on?
We're still on. I don't know why your picture's not up there.
Yeah, I don't either.
You froze your camera or something.
Yeah. So I'm going to come back in. So you just continue.
I'm going to hit some Super Ray contributions. Was that the end of the section? Oh, wait. Yeah. But let's show it up over here, right? Did she want to play the video, by the way? No, okay. So 57, right? Okay, guys. So I'm a coffee guy. I like to drink my coffee and stuff like that. But if you're in a mood and you're in that mellow Moscow mood, try some Moscow Magic Russian Blend from our good friend Svetlana Isabel. Fiorella Svetlana Isabel. A smooth blend. Just go to Joey's coffee roasters. Maybe we could put a link in there too as well. Maybe you want some Russian flavor. We got it. Every bean has been picked by Vladimir himself. They have the Juan Valdez back in the days. This one, Vladimir picks the beans himself. Every single one picked by Vladdy. There you go. You want to stay calm right there. Go to Joey's. You can also get some global South cold, so it's kind of cool. We did it that way where Fiorella, the Latin woman, is sponsoring the white country, and the white man Pasta is sponsoring the Latin countries. We just that comedy screwball we like to throw in there and have a good time with it. Stuff. Join fam. Do you want to say anything about Moscow's Magic Russian Blend? Show the cover one more time there. Fiorella,
I'm here,
Svetlana,
but
Mallorca.
I'm here, but I can't see the studio. But that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have you up there with a babushka hat on.
Which is kind of funny. You guys did that.
Yeah.
Before I announced. Yeah. So now it's like, okay. The Peruvian in Russia.
Fam was really upset that I got an alpaca on mine.
I love alpacas.
I got the alpaca. She didn't get the alpaca. You should have put a Russian bear in there, though, Oz. I think a Russian bear walking would be very appropriate since I got an alpaca. Get her a Russian bear. We'll work on it. Like Oz doesn't have a million things on his plate that he needs. Now they need a bear, honey. Joey, they want a friggin' bear. A goddamn Russian bear.
Guys, listen. I'm from the global South, right? I'm from Peru. I've lived in Florida a lot of my life. Then I lived in California for the last almost decade. In Los Angeles, freeze my ass off. I do not do well in the cold weather. I am like a baby when it comes to the cold. Not as bad as Nico, because he's cold when it's like 80 degrees. But yeah. So when I went to New York and DC, I was like sort of practicing. I was like, okay, it's going to be like 10, 20 degrees colder than this. So
bring lip gloss. Protect the lips because it gets cold. This is what happened to me in DC. I came back. I didn't put anything for my lips. My lips were like, ugh, from the frostbite. It was so goddamn cold. So have fun over there, fam. While I'm kicking it by the pool here in Las Vegas.
I don't like 120 degree summers either, but okay.
Pasta's going to wear bathing suits around the house. That's what I'm going to be doing. Steve's going to be calling him, fam, can you do something about Pasta wearing goddamn Speedos walking around the house? I mean, I know it's hot, but for crying out loud.
Oh, yeah. Steve already has made several complaints about you, by the way.
I'm sure.
But we're not going to divulge those.
No. Cultist Demon, congrats, fam. Great news. I'm excited for you. We already read that, but just want to say it again. Thank you, Cultist Demon.
Thank you, Cultist.
Unbeliever. Thank you for the super contribution. It's always appreciated on the couch. Game.film. I'm behind on the stream. Congratulations, Fee. That's huge, freaking huge news. And great work, Pasta and Fee, as always, from Thomas Hutchinson. Thank you, Thomas Hutchinson. It's always appreciated on the couch. Guys, don't forget our givesendgo.com/support the combo couch. We need your help. We are going to Colombia. Shit's going down over there, but we're going to go there and check out those elections and report back to you guys. We think it needs to be done, so that's why we're going, fam. Fam, I don't know if you know, your favorite person in the Biden administration, Jen Psaki, is leaving. She's going to be walking down and into the MSNBC studios. So she introduces her new press secretary. Who is she, fam? Well,
who is she? I don't know.
Her name is Karine Jean-Pierre. Will become the first Black woman House press secretary. She's also one of the first openly gay press secretary. And guess what? I don't know why that's important, but they got to tell you everything because you know what they're going to do now, fam? They're going to put a complete shield around her
Yeah.
So now she's an openly gay black woman
Yep.
of Haitian descent. You can't attack her because now if you attack her, you're being misogynistic, you're being racist. That is what they're doing with this
Is
move.
she going to talk about how badly the United States has treated Haitian immigrants?
No, she's not. Because you know why? Because all she is just another hack to protect the ruling class, to make them look good. That's what her job is. You know what I'm saying? That to protect the imperialist warmongers that she worked for the real racist in the White House. That's what that's her job. And that's who she's always been. And you can just, we'll go through this real quick. President Biden has named Karine Jean-Pierre as his second White House press secretary, replacing Jen Psaki later this month. Jean-Pierre, who has been Psaki's deputy since the start of the administration, will make history several times over, fam. She will be the first black secretary in the White House history and the first openly gay person in this high-profile role, speaking for both the president and the U.S. government in press briefings that are watched by the world. Fam, does it make a difference? Does it matter that she's gay? Does it matter that she's a black woman? I mean, is it the main thing that we should be paying attention to?
It's not the main thing. Like, it's not that we're mad that she's black and gay. That's not what we're mad that they're weaponizing identities to cover up for the fact that this person is now going to be the press secretary, and they're manipulating, because exactly as you said, now anytime you attack her, it's not just going to be, oh, you're sexist. It's going to be, okay, you're racist too. Oh, when you're a homophobe too. Because that's what all they know how to do is identity politics. And they do this all the time. And I'm sick and tired of them tokenizing like actual, like immigrant issues and race issues that they don't do anything about, by the way. Zero. You literally talk about the Haitian issue, by the way. And by the way, the US has backed several coups in Haiti. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So like they don't care. They just use identity. Yes, it's of course good to have different cultures and different people representing things, sure, but that's not why they do it. Yeah. They specifically went through the entire list. She's everything, right? She's gay, she's black, and she's a woman. Okay, great. So now that means that somehow she's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't attack her. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous.
They do it all the time.
Manipulative.
Yeah, they do this all the time. They weaponize race. They weaponize gender, sexuality, and whatnot. So here's the little announcement where, Jen Psaki's getting all choked up and introduces her for the first time.
I want to talk about my friend Karine. You've got to come up here.
Again?
So,
All right,
I just want to take the opportunity to celebrate and congratulate my friend, my colleague, my partner in truth, Karine Jean-Pierre, the next White House press secretary. Now, many people in this room have known her for some time, but for anyone who does not know her, I want to provide a little bit of a primer for you, so settle in. First, as you all know, she will be the first Black woman, the first out LGBTQ plus person to serve in this role, which is amazing because representation matters, and she is going to she will give a voice to so many and allow and show so many what is truly possible when you work hard and dream big, and that matters. And we should not, we should celebrate that.
Yeah.
Am I frozen still?
Yeah. So,
all right, I'm gonna change the internet one more time and try that.
All right, come on back. So there it is, the introduction. And let me tell you something. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but to some people, it's the only thing that matters. Oh, she's a Black woman and she's gay, and that's what's really important. That's not what's important. You know what I'm saying? And I went to her Twitter, right? I said, I want to see something of substance. I want to give her, a fair chance here before I just make any decisions, whatnot. So I did a little research on her, and I did not like what I found. So this is what I saw on her Twitter, and I want you to check this out because once again, she'll just throw it's all led by identity. That's the main thing on the table. And, you're talking about an imperialist empire over here. The things we do foreign policy-wise, the things we do to our people, the class warfare we have, so many people are suffering. You know what I'm saying? These things matter too, but not to this clan. So take a look and listen to this right here. A video I found from Twitter not too long ago.
what we need to be able to deliver for the Black community and the promises that this president has made about equality and making sure that equity is at the center of everything that we do. That is why I'm here.
Who are you? Because we have seen you be a pundit. We've seen you be a mom. We've seen you be the woman who speaks for the nation behind that podium when Jen is not there, and on the road with the president, et cetera, et cetera. Who are you?
Now I get to be at the podium from time to time, traveling with the president and being a spokesperson for the president of the United States. And I go to that piece because I am one of those people, and I think many people have the story where statistically I am not supposed to be where I am today. Statistically, and what I was told when growing up, I am not supposed to be in this space, having an office in the West Wing, coming in, going in and out every day through the White House gates, and being able to be part of this administration because because of what I grew up with, because of the limitations that were put in front of me. The Biden-Harris administration, and which is also very historic, with the vice president being the first woman vice president, and all of the things that we have to do, the work that we have to do, and what we need to be able to deliver for the Black community, and the promises that this president has made about equality and making sure that equity is at the center of everything that we do. That is why I'm here, working, making sure that I am able to voice and message what the president is trying to do for our community and for our country.
Fam, I'm going to let you just give your opinions because I saw you
making faces.
Yeah, I didn't want to expose you there. I wanted to put you on blast. You're my partner. I don't want to. She was just going like. She rolled her eyes and shook her head. So, fam, go right ahead because that's why I'm here. It's about equity. Go ahead. That equity.
Yeah, just like the woman. I mean, it's just so, it's so gross. Like, for me, to allow yourself to be weaponized and used, because that's what's happening to me. I mean, I'm not trying to be offensive here, but she's allowing them to weaponize her identity, all of her identities, to push a certain agenda that the State Department wants. Because they know that with Psaki, okay, this white woman, they could still say blah, blah, blah. But now with her, and they're going to, any attack by any Republican, by anybody, but especially the Republicans. The Republicans are so racist, white supremacy. They're so mad that a gay, Black woman is in charge, and they're so upset that it's going to become about that. It's not going to matter what Biden's doing and all the atrocities that this country or this empire that we live in, right, is committing, and the war and all the backtracking and all the lies. None of that's going to matter because she is a Black gay woman. And unfortunately, it's going to come off as like people saying, oh, you don't want that. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about the substance of the person. She's fake. She's fake. She's a phony. You can tell. She's just regurgitating the propaganda she was given. And she's already been a pundit. So, you're not going to get anything authentic from her. It's the same story.
And nobody cares about the actual job they're doing, fam. They just care about the status, right? They reach that status that I'm working for the White House now. I'm the press secretary for the White House. That's it. Well, what about the job? What about who you're working for? What about the fact you have to sell your soul? They don't give a shit. They were in it to win it. That's what the winning is to them. It's their status. What do I got? How much money do I have? What's my job? Look at me. I'm in DC. I'm hanging out with Susan Malveaux, who's I believe she's another analyst, Susan Malveaux. On CNN. Yeah, that's her partner. She does have a kid. But let's take a look at her career real quick. And I got this off. It's a biography, and I just clipped off her career part. After graduation, Jean-Pierre was hired as the director of legislative and budget affairs for the New York City Councilor. She then worked as an outreach coordinator for Walmart Watch in 2006. In 2008, she became the Southeast Regional Political Director for John Edwards, as well as Barack Obama's presidential campaigns. During Obama's administration, she was appointed as the Regional Political Director for the White House Office of Political Affairs. She then went on to serve as the National Deputy Battleground States Director for President Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. In 2014, she then started working as a lecturer and in international and public affairs at Columbia University, where she went to, fam, where it seems to be the CIA breeding ground. That's where Sandy went to school as well.
No, she didn't. She didn't go there. She went to Boston University.
Didn't she go to Columbia eventually too as well? No?
No.
In
She went to
2016
Boston. Yeah.
Well, thank you for correcting me. In 2016, Jean-Pierre served as a deputy campaign manager for Martin O'Malley in 2016 presidential campaign. Was also named as a senior advisor and national spokesperson for the 2016 presidential election. She became a political analyst for NBC News and MSNBC in 2019, as well as served as senior advisor for Joe Biden's 2020 presidential campaign. So she can see that she's just, establishment across the board. Yeah. She's an establishment hack. Yeah.
That's it. Because Jen Psaki is essentially doing the same job. She's narrative managing at MSNBC. That's what she's going to do, right? She's not going to go be a journalist. She's going to go narrative manage. And so the one that was at MSNBC is now going to go take her job because it's the same fucking job.
Yeah.
It's the same job.
They just switch it out.
Yeah.
They just switch it out. They may give Jen Psaki her own show. So who knows? Fam, you might know her. This is where we know her best. When I think we were at this event, actually, at this Democratic National Convention. I believe this is the one I think it was in Long Beach. But remember this hippie went on stage and grabbed the microphone out of Harris's hands, and she was the one that was doing the questions there and got between her and Harris. And then she goes on later on the news. I just acted, fam. That's it. I saw some hippie, this guy, and watch how she uses all the buzzwords, all the divisive words to make sure that, red team versus blue team. Here we go.
A lot of people saw that, and I can't imagine what it was like to have a prominent sitting United States Senator running for president and having no idea, as I've said to other people, when you stepped in front of that guy, you had no idea what his intentions were. He could have had a gun, he could have had a knife, you didn't know what he was going to do. So good on you for the courage you showed, and you stood your ground. I said, I know who I want moderating my next panel. Karine Jean-Pierre, take us through what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, so I want to first start to say that the conversation we were having before he jumped on, really hurled his body onto the stage. We're talking about gender gap and race. So you have three women on stage, three women of color on stage, having this really insightful conversation. It was Kamala Harris's big idea, and so we're just talking, going into depth, and we're also talking about race as well in that conversation. And here comes this guy with all of his male privilege and jumps on stage and says, "I have something better to talk about. I have something that I want to talk about." So there is the insulting component of it, as well as the frightening part of it as well. And when I saw him, I wasn't sure what was going on. That's why I kind of was staring, and I thought, well, who is this guy? And when he started making his way towards the senator, I thought, oh no, this could end up, the outcome was what I was worried about. Right. And I've said this before. I was thinking Virginia Beach had just happened the day before. I was thinking, wow, we've had hate crimes rise in the last 3 years. And I thought, she is a sitting senator who is running for president, a woman of color. Anything could happen. And I just thought, it's going to go bad, and I cannot let this happen. And so I as you saw, I just went into action. It was instinct. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about what could happen to me. I was thinking about what could happen to her. And you were asking me what she was like, and she was fantastic. She was terrific. I've talked about when she was leaving, because she went off stage and came back, and we continued the conversation. And I apologized to her when she was leaving. We were all done. And she said, no, thank you. I am so proud of you and what you have been doing. And then she called me on Sunday just to check in, just to see how I was doing. So I said this last night on Rachel Maddow. It really made me think about what we're missing in this country. Just just common human decency. People just saying thank you and being worried about you. And we just don't see that anymore. And so that's kind of part of it too. And I've heard from so many women, white, black, women of color saying to me, I've experienced that and no one came to my aid. And, I had this one woman text me last night who said, I just feel like black women are the most disrespected women on the planet. Like people are really, women in particular, are feeling that moment that they saw on the stage.
Of the reason Jesus Christ. And Kamala too. You got the fucking cop, Kamala Harris there. She's talking about Kamala like she's freaking like a nun, like a saint. Like and using every single keyword, fam. Oh, we have
an privilege. There's a woman of color.
Oh my God, I hate it. I hate it so much. Like it's so, you know why I hate it? Because I'm an immigrant and I hate that shit. I hate that they weaponize our shit. They weaponize things without doing anything at all to fix the actual issues. The wars, the imperialism, all of that is why Haiti is in the situation it's in. And then you have this woman, she's got to be an intelligence asset. There's no way. There's no way. They picked the perfect person.
Yeah.
Who is now going to be, it's impossible to criticize her now. Because now we're all racist, we're all homophobes, and we're all sexist.
Yeah. And she's slicker, faster, and better than Jen Psaki. Literally, do you hear her words? She is very mellifluous. She's just sweet flowing. This man of color, this woman of color, this privileged man, he jumps on stage with all his privilege. Oh God. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't think about my safety. I just jumped on in, playing the victim kind of thing. Like, oh, dude, get some hippie over there complaining about the gas and the fracking situation. You know what I mean? Please, dude, like, stop.
Just some hippie, just some crazy radical hippie.
And then
crazy things he's complaining about.
Paula called me, fam, to make sure that it was okay because she's such a decent human being. And I'm going to go up there and speak for all these decent human beings. Man, you work for the Obama administration, the Biden administration. You know what they've done to Haiti? Please. And to finish up the section, come on. I mean, just come on. And that's what it's going to be like. They put a bigger shield around the press secretary right now by picking Karine Jean-Pierre. And now, let me tell you something. I'm also disgusted. This is the second time I'm going after conservatives in the show, the Republicans and whatnot, because all they do is play political football, fam. Look at this here from Newsmax. New White House press secretary urged Democrats to skip pro-Israel AIPAC. Good. But that's the thing now. Oh, you could sit there. We're being controlled by China, Netflix and Obama, China, and they're sitting there and they're controlling our government. What about Israel controlling our government? What about the lobbyists out there? But this is a bad thing because she's saying, oh, you can't do that. You can't criticize Israel. You're playing political football, and that's the problem with today's conservative. That's the problem right fucking there. Right there, that Newsmax article right there. It's once again, it's not who you're demonetizing and suppressing and who you're censoring. That's it's not the fact that you are censoring, it's who you're doing it to.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about the Republican, the conservative party in this country right now. Political fucking football.
That's how I feel about DeSantis, right? That he's doing the same shit, the same
political football. And they went right. They couldn't even wait. They had she told people to stay away from AIPAC. Good.
Why do we give, why is Israel like, why are we giving, aren't you mad that we're giving all these free stuff to Israel?
No, they're not.
Just saying. What about America first, right? All this free stuff going to Israel. Doesn't that bother you guys? Bothers me.
Yeah. OG North American Ape is even kind of the part you really rolled your eyes and that we heard people sighs from the booth. Here's OG American Ape. In quotes, they said someone like me would never be in this position. Yeah, unless you're willing to pretty much sell out your people. I'll say this again and again. This means nothing for us regular black folk because we will never be in that position unless we are willing to serve the establishment. All this weaponizing of IDPOL is going to make me vomit. I hate it. IDPOL?
Identity politics, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. All this weaponizing of identity politics is going to make me vomit. I hate it here. OG North American Ape. Thank you so much. Nah, this is from Zach Boyles, my ball, Zach Boyles. My boy, Zach Boyles. Sorry. What did I say? I said my ball, Zach. I said my ball, Zach Boyles.
Oh my God, Foster, you're gonna make me laugh and cry.
My boy, Zach Boyles. Thank you.
My balls.
My boy, Zach Boyles. He says, nah, the whole fucking thing is a joke after the move to make a ministry of truth. It's honestly all fucking stupid bullshit. So fake, so shallow, so racist and sexist. It is fitting that the ultra racist, credibly accused of rape person pretending not to have dementia and President Biden did it. Zoran Vasiliak, thank you for the Super 8 contribution. As always, appreciate it on the couch. Thank you, my boy, Zach Boyles. And thank you, North American OG North American Ape. We love you, brother. We love you guys all. And I'm glad you said that. And thank you for the Super 8 for doing that. But you did hit it on the nose, OG. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. The only reason why they say a person like me is not supposed to be in this position. Yeah, you're not, unless you sell your fucking people out. Because that's what you're doing. You're supporting the empire. Your job is to take the most awful people in the world and make them look good. That's what your job is. That's what you do. So take your identity politics and shove them where the sun don't shine. We ain't playing it no more. And that's me and all my privilege saying that. Go scratch.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's to me, that's more racist, sticking a person like that fits all your IPOL purity needs and using them to get people, to get poor people, to get working class people, actual people of color that we bomb every fucking day. Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Like, yeah, okay.
What could be more racist than going around and bombing people, indigenous people in their own country? What can be more racist than that?
Foreign policy doesn't matter.
Green.
So to progressives.
Green, jump here.
Representation is important, Pasta. Okay. This is a good thing, Pasta. That's what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, why are you against representation? That's what they're gonna say.
Terrible. Fam, this is the last story of the day. It's been a huge, long show, but it's been a great announcement. Guys, if you haven't heard, we're going to wrap up after this last section, but Fiorella has taken a job with RT International. She'll be going to Moscow. But even better news is that we'll be able to continue to do the Convo Couch. They're going to work around our show as well. So Fee will be on double duty just like I am, and we'll see what it's like when she gets to do that. We'll see how tired she is, because I'm just exhausted all the time. I'm sleeping like a polar bear here and there. But we're going to continue to do what we do, and she's going to go out there and kick some ass. It's one of the most important times to be there. And, you know, Fee, she's fearless, and she's going to go out there and she's going to kick ass. So if you haven't heard the news, Fee is going to RT International. She'll be moving to Moscow soon. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be heading to the Global South to go to Colombia to cover that election, and we need your help. So please go to givesendgo.com/support the Convo Couch. If you can't put anything in there, go grab it, go share it right now. Help us out. We need to expose what's going on and show people around the world what elections are like. Because let me tell you something. If this is a situation where Petro wins, you might see the United States government say their elections were unfair. The first thing they do when they want to delegitimize a ruler of a country or an elected president is they say that the elections are fake. Before Daniel Ortega's election even began, the Biden administration was calling it fugazi and calling it pantomime and all this stuff. And you had armchair journalists from the New York Times and the New York Post writing, I think it was from the New York Times, writing from probably a seat in Long Island, trying to tell you what was going on with the elections in the Global South in Nicaragua. Well, guess what? We were there. We were all there. We were spread out throughout the whole country. We were able to show the elections for what they were, every single bit of it. It was so important right now. And we actually were able to show some legitimacy for that election because we were there. Well, now we got to do the same thing in Colombia, guys. So help us out. Go to givesendgo.com/support the Convo Couch. Now, fam, speaking of the Global South, this is something big. Like we talked about, AMLO had a referendum halfway through his 6 years, and he took it to the people. And he says, you're going to decide whether I'm doing a good job or not. If I'm doing a bad job and you guys vote for that, I'll call snap elections and we'll elect somebody else to run the country. If you think I'm doing a good job, we're going to move forth with our plan. He won, right? He convincingly. So now he's about to go. He's starting on a little tour. Fam, I don't know if you know this. I'm a newspaper guy. Hold on. Right. And it says, Mexico's president starts Central American tour. Well, it started, and he's also mentioned something else, fam, and this is really huge because we talk a lot about the fourth industrial revolution. We talk about the natural resources, how it's been a fight around the world for coal and oil for a long time. Other natural resources are coming into play. One of those natural resources that mean so much is lithium. So the global south is to nationalize lithium, which is a proposal by AMLO. And he's trying to get a bond between them. So here it is. Mexico calls for Latin America Lithium Alliance. And this is from Casacha News, our good friend Camilla. And anytime you got a chance to use Casacha News, fam, you use Casacha News. So here it is. The president of Mexico, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has expressed his intentions to form an alliance with Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile in order to promote a mutual collaboration on lithium. There has been communication with the president of Bolivia, Luis Arce. He, in turn, has a relationship like us with the president of Argentina, Alberto Fernandez, who also has lithium, and with the president of Chile, Gabriel Boric, with the purpose of creating an association to help each other out mutually, said the Mexican president during his morning press conference today. That is something that AMLO does, fam. Every morning he gets up and he has a press conference talking to his people. In April, Mexico's Congress approved a reform to the mining law of that country, which launched the nationalization of lithium and the creation of a public body that is in charge of everything related to exploration, exploitation, and industrialization. He pointed out that in the case of Chile and Argentina, private companies are in charge of exploiting the resource, but Mexico is still interested in collaborating in this work, fam. This is something huge because...
This is huge.
Huge. I mean, and when we said you have to pay attention to the global south, that America might be distracted, it might be overseas right now, messing around in Ukraine, still doing shit in Syria and all that other stuff. Sooner or later, they're going to have to come home. The chickens is coming home to roost, and they're going to have to pivot over here. And they are not going to allow the global south and these leaders to dictate what they want to do with their own resources. Can't have that, fam. The American oligarchs, they want to control their resources, right? This is the Monroe Doctrine right here, modern day times. So with AMLO pulling this move, wow, this is huge. And this is amazing reporting by Camilla and Casacha News. In the case of Bolivia and Mexico, lithium is nationalized. But there is a shared interest with Chile and Argentina, and we're going to work together. We're already doing it, said López Obrador. In recent days, Bolivia celebrated the 5-year anniversary of the state company Yacimientos de Litio Bolivians. It was created by the government of Evo Morales with the aim of industrializing lithium and manufacturing value-added products within the country. Let's not forget, fam, this is the reason why they cooed him, and our good friend Elon Musk will coup who we want to coup. They wanted that lithium. They wanted to control it. On April 13th, which is a day before my birthday, Bolivia hosted the International Forum Perspectives on Lithium from Latin America, in which Bolivia's Minister of Hydrocarbons and Energy, Franklin Molina, pointed out that Bolivia, Argentina, Chile, and Mexico have agreed to hold an International Congress of Presidents this year to discuss lithium. Latin America is becoming a fundamental actor in the global energy market because more than half of the world's lithium reserves are located in those countries of Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile. This places us in an important geopolitical context because the lithium in our region is a key factor for the global energy transition strategies now underway, said Molina. And that's by Casacha News. So, fam, wow. He went like
Great
this
reporting.
to the United States.
Great job, Camilla. Great job, Ali. Casacha News. I mean, that's big. I don't think people realize, like, we're excited about this because this is big. Because you have to look at this as another thing that's happening in the global south right now. Also, there's a tide, obviously, right? There's an obvious shift in the global south that for a lot of decades, especially in the global south in terms of South and Central America, they have been sanctioned. There's been a lot of exploitation of resources by the West, and they're pushing back. They're electing more left-wing type of governments, which in the global south is important in terms of opposing the existence of paramilitary fascists that existed, for example, in Chile. And, you know, I'm not a huge Boric fan, but he was definitely an improvement from the type of, just complete and total fascist type of government that existed in Chile that plagued a lot of the country forever. And then so you have AMLO in Mexico, you have Daniel Ortega in Nicaragua, you have Honduras that one of their representative recently said something in opposition to one of the but it was like the first time I saw anybody in Honduras actually speaking out against the West. And so you have this sort of thing happening, right, in these nations. And now you have Russia-Ukraine situation where a lot of these nations are supporting Russia, or at least trying to stay as neutral as possible because they know what time it is, and they know China's there, and they know the Belt and Road Initiative and all of that. So there's a shift, guys. There's a shift. And now these countries are taking advantage of that and saying, now it's time to fight, right? And they're making alliances with Iran. Iran and Nicaragua have also been talking a lot. And of course, Iran has a long time been working with Venezuela, Cuba. So you have these alliances happening. And I think, that signals to me that there is an opposition to this sort of agenda of the fourth industrial revolution, where you have, because it's natural, because a lot of these countries' resources have been exploited. So they're opposing the continued attempt to, exploit the resources. Now, do I think there's going to be, nations that sell out and whatever? Yeah, of course. There, a lot of Latin America. Argentina, I wouldn't trust it just now. And I think Brazil, with the upcoming election in October, which I hope to go to as well, between Lula da Silva and Bolsonaro, that's another one that could turn in favor. So you see all this happening, and AMLO seems to be, just as you said, like just doing everything he can now, right?
Yeah, he got the referendum. He kind of was laying low in the bushes, and now he's coming out swinging. Here as Mexican president slams U.S. on a tour of Central America, which you said, like we said, he started in Guatemala and he's set to go to Cuba next. There he is. Guatemala City, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador started a 5-day tour of Central American countries and Cuba on Thursday by lashing out at the U.S. government. López Obrador criticized American officials sharply for being quick to send billions to Ukraine while dragging their feet on development aid in Central America. And this is what he's talking about. He's been butting heads with the central banks and the IMF and everything like that. They promise you all these things, and now they're sending money off to Ukraine and saying, screw you. And meanwhile, they have so much control over the country. The next step for me is going to see who is Mexico going to have, succeed this guy, right? Like, who's going to follow AMLO? And the United States is going to try to get their puppet in there and whatnot.
Yep.
And I mean, this guy is so much well liked, if they try to ratify the Constitution so he can run for another term or something, the United States will not stand still. They will go crazy. They're not going to sit still, Exactly. So he's a dictator. He's a fascist. All that shit is coming. On his first stop in neighboring Guatemala, López Obrador demanded U.S. aid to stem the poverty and joblessness that sends tens of thousands of Guatemalans north to the U.S. border. The Mexican leader has angered that the United States rebuffed his calls to help expand his tree planting program in Central America. They are different things, and they shouldn't be compared categorically, but they have already approved $30 billion for war in Ukraine, while we have been waiting since President Donald Trump asking they donate $4 billion. As of today, nothing, absolutely nothing. They got nothing, is what López Obrador said. Honestly, it seems inexplicable, he added. For our part, we are going to continue to respectfully insist on the need for the United States to collaborate. So they promise all this stuff and they get nothing. They get nothing. But what they do get is that the American corporations get to go in there, seize all the fruit, seize all the bananas in Guatemala, take all their natural resources, make sure people are living under austerity measures while the IMF and the monetary system is strong there. This is something I really was like, wow, I was blown away when I went to Latin America and the Global South, fam, is that the dollar is everywhere. You could use American dollars everywhere, just about. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's present there. So now while we thrust all these banks and the systems on these people, we also then leave them high and dry. And instead of giving them the things that we told them we're going to give them, we don't. We ditch. Instead, we're giving weapons to Ukraine, leaving them out in the cold. But this is just what's another way of him just kind of pivoting and going like this to the United States. Assume the position. AMLO's ready for a fight. And he's this move, what Camilla reported Wow, that is big, especially if you're a fourth industrial revolution guy. You know the importance of lithium. You understand it. There's a fight for lithium. They pretty much extracted much of it out of the Congo. So, they're not going to let it up for grabs. That's why I think in Peru, fam, they were so they wanted to make sure they got a hold of that lithium because it's on the lithium triangle. So it's just to be continued. Let's wait and see, because I do not see the United States sleeping on this stuff. We've been too quiet in the global South right now. It's kind of scary because I think they're going to make up for it in some way, especially when they get their asses handed to them in this Ukrainian situation. It's all over.
I agree. Wow. Great report. Great news. Great job, Kasachan. Wow.
Yeah, great job, Kasachan. Fam, last thing to go here, number 75, help the Convo Couch get to Colombia, observe their elections. I've been talking about it all day, but there's Fam. That's us in Honduras. And we were out there right behind her. They were singing this song. Sevan. Sevan. Yes, Sevan. So we're going to get to Colombia. We're going to do the work there. So if you guys got a few extra bucks, givesendgo.com/support the Convo Couch. That's what it's all about. I think we have another Super Ray contribution that was dumped right on in. Zoran Vasiliak, who just left the Super Ray before that, says, congrats, Fee, on your new job for RT. Please just let us know when you come to Russia so we can celebrate with a glass of vodka.
Oh.
Fam, you got friends out there already, right? You got Mark Sloboda's out there. Maybe you can run into Peter Lavelle. Now you got Zoran. You got a friend from Kim. You got friends everywhere. They're waiting for you over there. Russia can't wait for Fiorella. Fee, you got anything else to say about your trip to Moscow before we get out of here today with our 6-hour show? You sound like a Decepticon.
Excited to go, guys, and I'll be I'll be there.
Start over again. We missed the first part. You were kind of
Do I
fading
still
out.
sound like that?
No. Now you sound good. So say it before it gets back there.
Did I freeze?
No, you were kind of sounding like a Decepticon. Now we can't hear you at all.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know. I've been having internet issues. Yeah. You always say that. Okay, so fuck, really? Damn it. Okay.
All right, guys, that's it. Fiorella's out like a Christmas tree. I don't know if that makes sense. She's out. She's done. She's there. Hopefully she'll jump back in. But if you haven't heard, Fiorella accepted a job at RT International, and she'll be going there very shortly. Good news is we'll still be doing the Convo Couch. Definitely on our Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We have a pickup show this week. It's Tuesday. We're going to still try to do it as much as we can. But they're accepting of that. They're understanding of that. They're actually supportive of that. So they're going to let it be done and let us continue to do it. Fiorella, any last words?
Yeah, just thank you guys for all the support. Please help us out for Colombia. It's literally what we just need for airfare and food and the transportation cost of the delegation that we're going with. So just help us out if you can. Thank you so much for all the congratulations. I love you guys, and thank you for wishing me the best. I'll still be here until I leave and after Colombia, of course. So yeah, I'll see you guys Monday.
From Moscow, Fiorella Svetlana Isabel and Pasta Craig Jardula. Say it, fam. That's right. Niet.